solid cut with the music there. How's it going, folks? My name is Abigail Beck. Welcome back to the Rogue Room. I am your host. I'm going to be talking about justice tonight and the news and everything that's been going on in the world. How you been? How's it hanging? First and foremost, before anything gets done, Magic, thank you for giving a heck. Also, if I'm not mistaken, that's for you. Where's my ring? We need to have the ring. That's part of the brand. And also, before I drink my coffee, we got to have a bit of vodka to wash it down with. How's it going, friendos? Looking like a cutie, thank you very kindly. I'll tell you why I'm dressed like this. You might know if you've already seen my social media posts, but I have to show this off because, I mean, check out these pants, dude. Ignore the Ugg boots. But like, look at this. Look at my ass for a second. How good are these? Anyways. I saw these pants online and I had to buy them. So now I'm a Harley Quinn cosplayer. I'm one of those girls. Sorry. For anyone who was hoping I would never go down the route of being a Harley Quinn cosplayer. I guess I'm disappointing you somewhat, probably. At any rate. They look cute. The outfit I put together with them looks cute. There's an awesome hat. Let me see if I can find it, actually. There's an awesome hat that I saw. That's not it. That's a pop vinyl. Can I find it? Where's the hat? This. This is available somewhere near me, this cap. And now I'm just like, well, I can't not buy the cap now, can I? I have to buy the cap to go with the whole thing. If you want the pants, they're available on Shein, I think. I think that's what... Yeah, Shein is where I got them. Also, there's this one. I've not seen this one before, but it's kind of neat. Bit of a glossy look to it. Anyway, we'll stop advertising for DC Comics. How's your day been, folks? Let's get into the beginnings of the whole thing. Let's clarify, for the moment, today was certainly a day that happened. For anyone who missed that. And so was yesterday, but, you know, yesterday was Fallout Day, so we didn't get to do the news. But we did discuss for a moment the whole Derek Chauvin thing yesterday. Don't buy graphic items from them. Okay. Your brain is dying. You've been up since 2 a.m. Well, yeah. That'd do it to you, certainly. Jesus. Yeah, there are a few stores I've been shopping on, admittedly, where I'm pretty aware of the fact that they're probably not the best, and I probably shouldn't shop there. But also, cute clothes that don't cost me a fucking fortune is the thing. But, I mean, I like these pants. I haven't bought anything graphic, so anything graphical from any of those kind of stores, so I'll keep that in mind. It wouldn't shock me if they were stealing artwork, honestly. Sadly. But anywho, that's regrettably commonplace in online fashion. How's it going, Katrina? What's going on? Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm getting on my coffee game. It's that good shit. I don't need more coffee. I really do not. If I'm completely honest, I should stop drinking it, but I'm not gonna. Thank you for the posture check. Oh. Let's make sure we're all nice and our shoulders are rolled and all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about justice. We're going to talk about the concept of justice, the philosophy of justice, and all this kind of stuff. Especially in the wake of, the George Floyd sentencing. Not George Floyd sentencing. Well, the sentencing relating to George Floyd. The Derek Chauvin sentencing. Which, everyone's cheering about it. Everyone's going on about it. Oh, God, the Justice League. The concept of the Justice League is kind of laughable when you think about it. But anywho, we did sort of cover exactly what his sentencing meant in terms of why was he sentenced to essentially 3 different types of murder, which was covered. We already covered that, basically. You learned your lesson and you're already at the mod screen. Should I be at the mod screen? Okay. Let's talk about the saucy femboy Jezebel thing. I wish I'd screen capped this because after I responded to this dude, and maybe I should just stop reporting my haters' comments on Facebook groups because they get deleted and then I can't use them as evidence of the things people say to me. But what was it? What the term saucy femboy Jezebel is my own terminology. But I posted these pics along with my live post on a Facebook group. Let me show you these ones. You've seen them already. We'll just post this one for a second. We'll just show this one. Okay, I posted this pic, right? Now, one dude decided to comment, "Nice dick print," and first of all, I don't see a dick print there. I don't know what exactly he was going on about. These are slouchy pants that bunch up a bit. But the next point, the thing that I said in response was the effect of, you can just not respond, right? I just said that, it's just my going live post, and I just said, you have the opportunity to just not reply if all you're going to be is a cunt. I didn't say that. I was very, very forward and formal about it. And, it was wishful thinking. That's where your eyes went first, doesn't it? Yeah, it doesn't exist. It's just like the way the pants just slouch together because it's very big, flowy kind of material. And this guy responded that I was just some... I think it was something like it. He used the word femboy. He was like, "Are you just some femboy pretending to be a girl on Twitch to get views?" And before I had the chance to respond, a moderator had deleted his comments, so I can't reply anymore. But now I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. Let's own this femboy Jezebel thing, which I've added the Jezebel bit. But yeah, the femboy terminology actually refers to queer femme guys. Like a femboy is someone who identifies as a man. Well, typically speaking, they go by he/him pronouns. They're not trans. They are what's the way you could refer to them? I suppose they are queer in a certain way, but if they are gay or whatever, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm not a femboy. Gender non-conforming would be the best way to phrase it, yeah. And what I've seen of a lot of femboy types or cross-dresser types, I would say, there are certainly femboys who get around dressed femme, who are still pretty clearly men, right? But one of the things, I mean, it gets a bit awkward because it's like, are they cross-dressers or is it another thing entirely? I'm just gonna. It sounds like we're talking about trash. We're talking about people who are calling me a femboy. I don't think femboys themselves are necessarily bad, but I don't know. Do they count as cross-dressers? I don't know. What's the dealio there, or are they just feminine dudes who wear maid outfits? English is my native language. It is. Trash is a good New York Dolls song. I have not heard it. There's nothing to see. No, stop looking at each other's crotches, for goodness sake. You've met trans men who are femboys? There you go. Why is everyone staring at everyone's... Stop crotch gazing, you freaks. Jesus. So the story, Abyss, as we mentioned a moment ago, I posted a live status yesterday on Facebook. And... this picture went along with it. I'll just bring it up again because it's a cute as fuck photo. Look at me. Holy shit, I'm gorgeous. And somebody accused me of being a femboy to steal viewers. Just casually checking out the memories. I mean, they're coming in, not gonna lie. But realistically speaking, it's like, it's such a weird thing to call someone a femboy to steal, like, really? Is that the way that, is that the way this works? Like, if someone is feminine presenting, they immediately get tons of viewers? I don't know how this works. Because I'm just a dumb, doofy girl, or apparently a boy pretending to be a girl on the internet. I'm a klutz. Look. A little rehash just for you, yes indeed. Conure CC. What's that? Let me have a gander. Who's that? Is this who you're talking? Is this your example of a femboy? Is that what you mean? I'm assuming that's what you mean. Phage. Have a little grammar question. Is the grammar correct? All pilots had to speak English so that other pilots and air controllers will understand them. I can understand that sentence perfectly fine. Or, if it's present tense, all pilots have to speak English. If you're going present tense, I would say have to speak English. Your eyes just immediately go to crotches. So do mine. It's such a bad thing. I wonder if it's an autistic thing. They do a lot of leg-based content. Well, like this is Conure, and I guess according to Phage, this is a femboy. You know, which is, you know, I wouldn't call Titania a femboy if Titania calls themselves a cross-dresser outright. And they go by any pronouns. Like, they don't care what pronouns you call them. Conyure's a good boy. Crotches or teeth, whichever presented first. True. Fucking misogyny on Twitch. They really hate it when people say that everyone on Twitch who is female succeeds because of horny dudes. And then you look at the stats and, like, the top 50 or 100 streamers are all, like, mostly men. There's, like, one woman and it's Pokemon in the top 100 or top 50 streamers or something like that. It's like, where is this coming from? This idea that women are stealing viewers, that feminine presenting people are stealing viewers. I had a friend on here. I don't know if she even streams anymore. She's kind of gone radio silent for a while. But I'm not trying to dismiss her or anything like that. She's fucking gorgeous. This girl is fucking gorgeous. Dong Blob, welcome to the Rogue Room. And regrettably, whenever I would click onto her streams, she's not boring either, but she would routinely be around 3 to 5 viewers, and she'd been streaming about as long as I had. Absolute stunner of a person, incredibly conventionally attractive, and was not exactly killing it on Twitch. Like, so it's a complete misnomer. Where does that even come from? You know, there's a slash timeout for a million. It's a slash, isn't it? Yes. It's a slash, yeah. 100,000 seconds. Calling trans girls femboys is an odd but definitely horrible new bigotry. Fox, there you go. Oh yeah, check out the nails, by the way. I nearly did like alternating nails, but I was like, that's too much effort. I think, given that, you know, let's have a look here. I did them alternating like that. How good am I? To match the pants. Somebody time out Abyss for 60 seconds, please. 1 day and 3 hours. Come back in a day and 3 hours, Bridgie, when you behave yourself. I swear I've seen that name in chat before. And I don't know if they were being rude before or whatever. Maybe they just suddenly became a cunt. I don't know. Make them all different colors. No way. No way. Just enough time to miss tomorrow's stream. Oh no, Phage removed the timeout. Oh god. Okay. Doing the full Harley Quinn, pretty much. Pretty much. I've got red hair tie here. And black one here as well. We've got the whole thing going on. Have a heart choker with red on one side and black on the other. I would like that. That'd be cool. Mine's just a black heart choker. I want to get more chokers. They're fun. We do have a Discord, !Discord, and there's also a link down below. I feel like Conure is someone who has been recommended that I follow before, so I'm going to follow them. And if they're live at some point while we're going to hit a raid, we'll go raid them. We'll go check them out, hey? Anyway, Discord! Hit me with the bad boy muzzle. Okay, hang on. I'll do it. It's alright. Go sit in the corner. Dick's on. Hang on. There you go. You get a 60-second timeout Abyss. Harley Quinn guns. Can you imagine if Harley Quinn was like this jacked in the Suicide Squad? It kind of feels strange to Discord. Can I come and check? Hello, friends.
Welcome, friends.
How's it going? How'd your stream go? How's things? How's life treating you? What button did I just press? I just pressed a button on my keyboard. I don't know what it does. Oops. I'm not even gonna... I don't know. Give me a second. Because, you know, we can't have a raid without...
appreciates your recommendation.
Party lights. Kayla Night Hunter. Thank you for the host. Super scary stream. Scary stream? What kind of scary? What are we doing? What are we doing? Tell us all about it. Botwick gave you an answer at Dick Sword? Wait, what? Did it really? It did kind of, yeah. Been dealing with a lot of harassment lately. That's not good. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope they all bugger the fuck off soon. We hate harassment. We were just talking about why I've got the phrase femboy in my title, and that kind of leans into harassment, but it was very, very surface level shit. Oh, but that's no good. At the very least, you can all enjoy my party lights. Some right-wingers try to get us mass reported. Oh, I hate when they do that. The fucking wankers. Jesus. You know the thing that annoys me the most, though, is it can actually work. You know? Same with TERFs, which, I mean... generally speaking, I'm just going to say it, most TERFs seem to be... right-wingers anyway, even if they say, oh no, I'm actually a leftist. And if you're a leftist, why are you leaning so fash, TERFs? But yeah, like, I've noticed that TERFs have a tendency to do that kind of brigade report, someone try to get their account banned on Twitter or whatever it is. My room is such vibes, thank you. I'm quite proud of how I'm quite proud of how my room has come along. Looks quite good. I also bought some new batteries for the portal gun. The portal gun is lit up again, but I also forgot to buy batteries for the rogue room lights, so it's fucked. And the fairy lights. The fairy lights are all nice and fixed up now. I'm fidget cubing at the moment. Hello, Rooster. How's it going? They got no time. Wait, who's got no time? What? Portal gun. It shoots a portal. Joebot, welcome to the rogue room. You keep one of these. This one's an infinity cube. This one's not, and I don't know if Ansi Labs does an actual infinity cube. But I do have an official Ansi Lab. This is the cube. This is our deity. We worship it. We give it all of our hopes and dreams and prayers and thoughts and everything. We manifest via the cube. Anywho, what was I saying? The cube. Cube. Whoa, I just dissociated completely from reality for a minute there. Okay. By the way, I've noticed something. I've got my trans flag up here. There it is. And I've noticed several posters on the internet who have a tendency to have a trans flag hanging on their wall, and it must just be a thing that all the transes do when they get their flag, is they just hang it up directly out of the delivery packaging without ironing it. Literally, I've seen so many pictures of people who've got trans flags up, and they're all crinkled into perfect little neat lines. You can see it on mine. You don't iron the flag. I have to steam it or something. I want to get the lines out of it. But I've been incredibly lazy. Everyone treating the cube the way the aliens in Toy Story treated the claw, because it deserves our utmost respect. It is a very powerful cosmic being. I hope we're all aware of this. Very powerful, very cosmic, super cosmic. It's like Eldritch. Take it to a few Pride events. That'd do it. That'd do the trick. I should wear it as a cape. I should just get around wearing it as a cape. Iron is a metal, Draco. I mean, this probably isn't a spoiler to anyone who's seen the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender. But there is a point at which the gang, like, this annoys me. And I've been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time with Jacinta. I've never seen it before. She's introduced me to it. I mean, I've always known it existed, but I've never watched it. And, we got to a certain episode where there's a bunch of earthbenders trapped on an island made like a fortress and they explicitly state it's entirely made of metal, and I'm like, metal is earth. It's metal is it's earth, like iron. It's rocks. Why could they not use their earth magic? Just as a cape. Can we bring back capes? Can I talk about a dude I saw in the city the other day? Can I talk about a certain type of dude? We were hanging out in the city and we saw a dude in Darling Harbour, which is in Sydney for those of you who aren't aware, and he was walking along and he's wearing a cape. It's a dude wearing a big, long, flowy black cape. Looked badass, and I'm just like, I want to be you. I want to be that person with the cape. Right? But I didn't catch him from the front. Okay? And as I'm at the train station later on, I catch him walking in my direction. I get a whole glimpse. And he's got a full-on, he's got this vest with like these buckles across the front. He's got some nice pants to go with it. The only thing that stands out is the fact that he's wearing like sneakers or whatever. It's a bit out of sorts with the rest of the outfit, but the outfit was mint. Envy overwhelmed me in the moment. I need to acquire myself a cape, friends. I do. Matter of fact, I should get a cape that can go with that that black dress that I got. Drama, but make it practical. Sneakers. At least make them completely black sneakers. They were like, no, they weren't even sneakers. I think they were Converses. It definitely seems like one of those cosplay crowd kind of kids where they've, you know, they put a whole ton of effort into the outfit, but at the end of the day, they're just like, the shoes that I'm wearing with this costume are woefully uncomfortable. I'm changing into my Chuck Taylors. Nobody gets their set bonus without the cape. Yeah, exactly. Some decent capes on Etsy, probably. I would like a black cape with a red lining, red inside. That'd be good. Let's get a cape, friends. Let's get into cape culture. Sneakers stick out like dog balls. You're wearing sneakers to your wedding? Good. Fuck it. I was saying to my sister, did we cover this story? We did, didn't we? We covered this story on stream. The homophobic wedding photographer who wouldn't photograph lesbian weddings, specifically mentioning that she had chagrin. She took umbrage with the notion of any kind of a Halloween-y style wedding, so she wouldn't photograph lesbian vampire weddings. Just let it be known. Not that I ever intend to marry, mind you. But if such a circumstance does arise, it will absolutely be a lesbian vampire wedding to the utmost degree. We will find the most gothic establishment possible. And we will be draped in fake blood and black attire. Is Umbridge hot? Dolores Umbridge certainly isn't. But yeah, lesbian vampire wedding is such a good sentence. Anyway, yeah, lesbian vampires, exactly. I've been tempted to like get in the past. I've been tempted to get my my molars. Is it molars? Hey, fun. Those ones. I've been tempted to get them modified into fangs, which you can do. There is a way to do it, apparently. Canines in sizes. You guys are giving me all different teeth. And also the ear. I also wanted to get like the ear, elf ear mod. Get my ears peaked. Like, can you imagine if I actually did that? Like, get the inside. We'll call them incisors. Let's have a look. Let's do a bit of dental research. That doesn't even help me. Front teeth. Not the front teeth. The fang ones. So you got your 4 central teeth, and then the 2 on the sides of those would be the ones that are probably the canines. I think it's probably, yeah, the canines are what I'm thinking of, not dog teeth. These ones. So you got your 2 front teeth, then the 2 on either side of those, and then the 2 outside of those 4. The canine teeth, yeah, canine cuspid teeth. I've long thought about getting my teeth modified to be fangs, and then clip the ears and be like Vampire mode. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. I don't even know like how you would get that done though. There's probably like body mod places that would do the ears easily enough, but the teeth thing would be trickier because it's periodontal. Oh no, Draco, you didn't. You found a sweater that said, "Real heroes don't wear capes, they wear badges, Blue Lives Matter symbol." Jesus. Oh my god, I hate it. Thanks. Thanks, I hate it. Oh, ew. Especially given that tonight's topic is primarily about this kind of thing. You usually get dentures glued in. That might be an idea then. No, I don't want to sharpen them. I want to get a cap over the top of them that makes them longer. Like actual fang-looking teeth. But I bet you it would be fucking awful. I already have a problem with biting my lip. Can you imagine if I had fangs? I would just be bleeding from the mouth all the time. Getting like so many mouth ulcers. Let's have a look. Are there... yeah, there are fang crowns you can get. Get veneers for it. Is that a... that's a Photoshop. Is that a Photoshop? No, maybe it's not actually. Maybe it's not. St. John's Dental Practice. Vampire teeth... maybe. It looks like there's a place in... I don't know where St. John's Dental Practice is, but it looks like there are places that do it. I thought at first, like, it's got to be just a Photoshop of the bottom image, but no, it actually does look like a legit thing. Now that I look at it closely, there is a bit of a difference there. You could also get dental crown therapy for dogs. There you go. Veneers, the things that go over your teeth, yeah. Yeah, I'd bite the shit out of my lip too, I would. I'd fuck it up. I would fuck up so fucking hard. But it'd be cool. Do not get crowns. Do not crown your teeth. There's probably very good reasons not to crown your teeth. You found cute, not crute. Ah, that is cute. Axolotl. Perfect. Amazing. Yes. Also, never a bad time to bring up, I don't have a link for it. Never a bad time to bring up Jordan Rescopoulos' Pridosaurs. I'm just going to type that in chat so you can Google it. I'm not going to look it up myself. You can do it. Just a bunch of different pins, shirts, stickers, I think, of various different types of dinosaurs done up in Pride colors and Pride designs and things of that matter. So, we did briefly touch on this yesterday. Someone here in the mod team is Ace Sammy, I think. Unless there's more than one. If anyone wants to come out and tell us they're Ace, go ahead. This is a safe zone. This is a safe zone, friendos. You can happily, freely express your sexuality here. Lazy, but you don't want to look it up. Fair. I can understand that. I'm pretty lazy too. Alright. Shall we get into this? Let's talk about this, because we didn't talk about this yesterday. You're gay? I'm also gay. I'm a very big lesbian. I'm a huge, huge lesbian. Demisexual? Fantastic. That's awesome. That's what we like to hear. This is also what we like to hear. George Floyd murder trial. Jury finds former police officer Derek Chauvin guilty. This was yesterday, so I'm very, very late to this. You know, everyone's already had their takes. We did talk a bit about what his sentencing meant yesterday before we started up Fallout New Vegas. But, yeah, this is the news as of right now. Keep in mind, as far as I know, he's not in jail. But anyway, a US jury has found former police officer Derek Chauvin guilty of the murder of George Floyd, whose death sparked worldwide protests, violence, and a furious re-examination of racism and policing. Chauvin, who pinned Mr. Floyd to the... I nearly said Dr. Floyd. Mr. Floyd to the ground with his knee during an arrest last May, was found guilty on all three charges against him: second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and manslaughter, and could be sent to prison for decades when he faces sentencing in 2 months. So he's been found guilty on all three charges. He still has to go through sentencing. Oh yeah, let's talk about the guy who posted "I can breathe." Yeah, let's actually hang on. Let me just quickly bring that up. Oh my god, I can breathe tweet. Yeah. Let's have a look here. It was the Las Vegas Raiders. No, stop playing your video. So, less than 24 hours after Mark Davis took responsibility for a widely criticized tweet responding to the verdict against Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. So, what happened was, let's just skip this intro part. Apparently, George Floyd's brother, Philanese, thanked the Las Vegas Raiders. There was a tweet from the Las Vegas Raiders account that says, "I can breathe for 2021" in large white capital letters against a black background. It was posted after Chauvin was found guilty on charges of second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter in the killing of George Floyd. And I think everybody gave him shit for this. Gave the, what was the guy's name? What's the guy's fucking name? I forgot what the guy's name is. But, the guy who owns the Las Vegas Raiders, posted this, you know, you think it's supposed to be, yeah, here's the actual tweet. I think it's probably gone by now. No, it's still there. Oh my god, it's still there. Holy shit. Yeah, that's really fucking tasteless. That is incredibly tasteless. Like, that's so bad. But apparently, Philanese Floyd, George Floyd's brother, actually thanked him for it. So there's something. I mean, I don't know what that means in the grand scheme of things. We'll keep this article up and we'll come back to it. Yeah, anyway, we'll come back to that discussion in a moment. Yeah, thanked him for it. It was weird. I don't know why. We'll read the article a little bit later on. Did I watch the Wolf vs. Destiny debate? I didn't, no. I heard everybody going on about it, about how Wolf kept answering the questions paragraphically. He just kept going on and on and on and on when Destiny would ask a simple question. But I don't watch Destiny, so I'm not interested. I do like Richard Wolf, but I don't like Destiny, so meh. Yeah, apparently thanked him for it. Anyway, let's continue. Jury deliberations began after a full day of closing arguments on Monday local time and lasted for just 10 hours before a verdict was delivered. The Minneapolis courthouse was ringed with concrete barriers and razor wire, which is, remember, razor wire is a war crime. And thousands of National Guard troops and law enforcement officers were brought in ahead of the outcome because there were protests. There were absolutely protests outside the courthouse. Or at least I imagine there would have been. I think there were. I imagine there were. Outside the courthouse, protesters pressed for a guilty verdict, yeah. Unshockingly. Entirely unshockingly. Of course there would have been protesters outside. Anyway, but yeah, they actually enacted concrete barriers and razor wire. We talked about this before the trial actually kicked off. They had the, let me see if I can find it. There's got to be pictures of it. There's got to be pictures of it. Yeah, this. They had this situation, right? So they had barbed wire fences, concrete barriers, and this is razor wire in between the barriers. Badger, thank you for the 100 bits, you fucking legend. You fucking legend, you. Thank you. How you doing? And razor wire, we've talked briefly about how barbed wire is used as a deterrent. You know, you're not likely to take a serious injury from barbed wire. Razor wire is a torture device. You know, it's if you get caught up in that, if you get tangled in that, you basically have to stay still until emergency services can get you out of it because it can lacerate you very easily. And that's the point. Like, it's still used as a deterrent, of course. But if somebody gets caught in that, if somebody gets caught in barbed wire, it's a bit of a bad time. It's not nice. But if somebody gets caught in razor wire, they are potentially dead. So don't go climbing through razor wire. And they knew what they were doing, you know. You have a joke. It's a horny joke. Go ahead. Interrupt me. Go ahead. I'll let you do it. And then I'll play an ad roll really quickly because we want to stay on top of the ads. Death Slinky. Give it to me. Give it to me, she yelled. I'm so wet. Give it to me now. She could scream all she wanted, but I was keeping the umbrella. Could have stopped the 106 riot if they wanted to. They could have. I suppose it's glad. Well, there were many, many bad things that happened during those riots. Where were we? Ad break. We'll quickly run an ad break just so we can stay on top of removing mid-rolls from interrupting things. You could shave your beard with it. That was a funny one. We'll come back to the Derek Chauvin thing in a moment. If you aren't seeing an ad and you're not subscribed, cool. That's awesome. There you go. Thank you for the hydration. There's your flip off. Thank you so kindly. But let me just keep an eye on this. Give it to me. Give me that finger. You've had maybe 5 beers tonight. Jesus. I haven't had any beers tonight. I've had coffee. I'm going to continue drinking my coffee, actually. This is weird because like I feel like I'm in between. I feel like I'm on the ad break. I have to wait until the 90 seconds is up so that we can continue with the actual content. This is like not good for live content. The whole having to run ad breaks, like we don't have to. I could completely stream without doing ad breaks, believe me. There's no reason I have to stream and do ad breaks in between. But if I don't do the ad breaks, then people coming into the stream will get hit with an ad immediately. So it's either somebody can come into the stream at any point and they'll get hit with an ad, or I roll ads every half an hour and it's expected. And subscribers don't get to see them anyway. You have some news, hit me, Unicorn. So, Zaxton, you have a question. So his 2nd degree murder is if you accidentally kill someone while committing a felony, and 3rd degree is if you accidentally kill someone... There we go, ads should be gone. While committing a misdemeanor, right? Totally confused as to the difference between the two. There might be a malfunction. There might be. Alright, let's have a look. Let's have a look. What is the biggest difference between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd? So, as far as I know, 1st degree murder is premeditated intentional killings. 2nd degree murder is an unplanned intentional killing. So reacting in the heat of the moment when angry. A death caused by reckless disregard for human life. And 3rd degree murder or manslaughter is an unplanned, unintentional killing that is not part of another felony. It can be either involuntary, you fall and push someone off a ledge by accident, or voluntary, you punch someone and unintentionally kill them. Now that makes things a bit complicated. I mean, we don't know like what the... I don't know what the specific reasoning was. We did go over the differences between his specific sentencing and why he got 2nd and 3rd degree murder as well as a 2nd degree manslaughter charge yesterday. We'll have to look up exactly what that was again so we can bring that back up. You've been discharged from child and youth mental health services. That's fucking awesome. Considering he knew George and was... Yeah, they used to work together. Apparently they used to work together. So it's entirely possible it may well have been 1st degree, but there's not enough evidence to suggest it. Which, if it was 1st degree, he would probably be, especially given the circumstances, he'd be going to jail for a much longer time, I think, if it was 1st degree. But if I'm not mistaken, a lot of people are speculating that he's going to be in prison for life. No matter what. We'll see. Anyway, where were we? Mr. Floyd, 46, died on May 25th after being arrested on suspicion of passing a counterfeit $20 bill for a pack of cigarettes at a corner market. This is the thing that really just irritates me the absolute most. A lot of people love to bring up, they say he had drugs in his system, they say he was a violent criminal, but, you know, everything I've read about George Floyd is that he moved to Minneapolis to turn his life around, right? And he ends up getting murdered by a cop over a potentially fake $20 bill. Suspicion of a fake $20 bill. This man is dead and there are these massive riots and protests and the justice system is under intense scrutiny, as it well should be, over a fake $20 bill that led to someone dying. That's a... Imagine the straw that broke the camel's back being a counterfeit $20 bill. They're calling for maximum, but if they've all served at once instead of back to back, I think you saw something. Yeah, I saw something about that too. It's 25 tops. He panicked, pleading that he was claustrophobic and struggled with police when they tried to put him in a squad car. They put him on the ground instead. The centerpiece of the case was the bystander video of Mr. Floyd gasping repeatedly, "I can't breathe." Onlookers yelled at Chauvin to stop as the officer pressed his knee on or close to Mr. Floyd's neck for what authorities said was 9.5 minutes. Again, absolutely no justification for that. He could have moved his knee at any time. George Floyd might well still be alive. This has to end. After the verdict was read, Chauvin's bail was immediately revoked. Fuck yeah. And he was led away with his hands cuffed behind his back. three other former Minneapolis officers charged with aiding and abetting murder in Mr. Floyd's death will stand trial in August. Hope they get charged as well. Here's Philanese Floyd and lawyer Ben Crump celebrating the guilty verdict. At a joyous family news conference, Mr. Floyd's brother, Philanese Floyd, said he had been receiving messages from all around the world. He told reporters that they're all saying the same thing. We won't be able to breathe until you're able to breathe. Today we are able to breathe again. America, let's pause for a moment to proclaim this historical moment not just for the legacy of George Floyd, but for the legacy of America, added Floyd family lawyer Ben Crump. This is a victory for those who champion humanity over inhumanity, those who champion justice over injustice. Prosecutor Jerry Blackwell, who interrogated Chauvin's witnesses during the trial, said the verdict sent a message to Mr. Floyd's family that he was somebody, that his life matters. Over fake money, i.e. a fake version of a human construct. Yeah, I know, like that's another thing, right? I think he's guilty. You still think he's guilty of George Floyd's death because George Floyd would still be alive, in your opinion, if he hadn't been on his body, but you would call it manslaughter. I still think there is enough evidence to suggest malicious intent, i.e. murder, i.e. at least... Yeah, I think the second degree charge is valid. It's confusing when you've got the second and third degree crossing over, but I guess that's a good thing. If the judge doesn't make it concurrent and not consecutive, defense definitely wouldn't want that, yeah. People were screaming that he was killing him, and he kept killing him. Yeah, at that point, like the moment that he kept going after being screamed at by civilians, it's clear that this was not a thing that you should be doing. Duh. It became a malicious intentional crime. Not first degree, like he didn't plan it out from the beginning, at least as not as far as we know. But certainly intentional at some point during the encounter. It became an intentional killing. Trumpies will always find something bad about someone to make them look bad. The right wing do that. It's not even just Trump people. It's the right wing in general. I've noticed this specifically. They have an antagonistic attitude. That's just the way that right wing political people are. They quite specifically want to be the bad guy. They want to be seen as in the right, which kind of fits the right wing. But their entire thing, the vast majority of the time, is just being antagonistic and nitpicking every little finer detail they possibly can to act as though they have a point. Anyway. The argument for first degree is generally after you've fired the first bullet. But yeah, he didn't really get a chance at turning his life around. They should have left him in the squad car and called him an ambulance. Yeah, exactly. He would still be alive. Well, we can speculate he would still be alive, if that were the case. But this is an outright execution. Always combative. Even the news is just attacking others, usually in personal attack. Yeah, I've noticed that. But yeah, the media definitely does want to cause division. Oh, which is one of the major issues we have in general with political commentary as a media space, I suppose. Anywho's. Where were we? Minneapolis Attorney General Keith Ellison commended the bystanders at Mr. Floyd's death who raised their voices because they knew what they were seeing was wrong and then told the whole world what they saw. Mr. Ellison went on to read off the names of others killed in encounters with police. This has to end. We need true justice. That's not one case, he says. That social transformation that says no one is beneath the law and no one is above it. Minneapolis streets filled with cheers and car horns. There's a lot here. Chauvin lawyers call for mistrial rejected. Let's go back. Let's read through this. Okay. The jury made up of 6 white people and 6 black or multiracial people weighed charges of second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter, with convictions on some, none, or all of the charges possible. Now, this is interesting. This is amusing to me because I saw, going back to the right-wing thing, somebody showed like a little illustration of the jury with like these little cartoon character faces, the top row, bottom row. And they were trying to say, it's like, oh, this is why this was an unjust trial. And it's just literally a depiction of the jury. And half the jury are black or multiracial. And that was their entire thing. It's like, this was an unjust trial because black people were involved. Like, that was literally their only comeback to the whole thing. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like these kinds of people, they're just looking to be an antagonist. That's it. Mistrial. What was their logic? Let's have a look. Let's keep reading this. The most serious charge carries up to 40 years in prison. Nowhere near enough. As the judge asked jurors if they had reached a verdict, a hush fell on a crowd of about 300 in a park adjacent to the courthouse with people listening to the proceedings on their mobile phones. Yeah, how dare the jury not be all white people. When the final jury verdict was announced, the crowd roared with many people hugging and shedding some tears. People elated by the verdict flooded the streets of central Minneapolis. Upon hearing the news, car horns blared and people ran through traffic waving banners. Floyd family members gathered in a Minneapolis conference room could be heard cheering from the next room as each verdict was read. In the wake of Mr. Floyd's death, demonstrations and scattered violence broke out in Minneapolis and around the country. The furor also led to the removal of Confederate statues and other offensive symbols such as Aunt Jemima. Fuck the Confederate statues, by the way. It's really bizarre to me that when we see people going so far out of their way to defend the Confederate statues. Hang on. Let's just bring this back up again, because this is fucking amazing. Where is this? This is the majority report. This is Sam Cedar's video on the subject. Here we go. Did they delete it? They wouldn't have deleted it. Oh, wait, maybe they did. Nope, they deleted the video. Okay. That sucks. PragerU deleted the Twitter video. Is it here? Is it on?
PragerU released.
No, that's somebody's response to it. Come on. Let's just watch the. For anyone who hasn't seen it, we'll just have a quick glance at Sam Cedar's take on it.
I'm going to start by saying this. I am afraid, and we're going to do it anyways, but I'm going to say that I am.
The Confederacy lasted, I think, 4 years actually.
Afraid that this is some type of rat F operation, or this is some type of honeypot. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
But there was a video put out by PragerU. The Robert E. Lee statue has been removed from the Capitol, and it is being put in a museum in Virginia.
That's persecution.
And the PragerU did a video ostensibly to argue why Robert E. Lee deserves a statue. They don't say it deserves to be in the Capitol, and the statue is not being destroyed. It's just being put into a museum. And I am very nervous that there is something embedded in this video. It's like either a copyright thing, or it's like, it's some type of, this is a trap, because it is impossible for me to believe that they put out this video that purports to argue why Robert E. Lee deserves a statue, and they have made a compelling case that not only should this statue not be put into a museum, that it should be ground to a pulp, and whatever material it is made out of, I'm not quite clear, that should be used in the furtherance of maybe some other statue, like, I don't know, an
Donald Trump.
No, but here is the video, and this is.
I deserve a statue.
Who was Robert E. Lee?
Oh my God.
So yeah.
Look at how they denigrated his statue.
I don't know why the audio is suddenly fucking up like crazy. The Confederacy lasted. People trying to claim heritage. It's really just literally slave owners. Actually met a man who unironically told you heritage, not hate. Like, what? The heritage is literally just slave ownership. That's all it is.
The statues of great historical figures, like Robert E. Lee, are being torn down across America. Here are some facts about Lee that remind us why his statue should remain.
So this obviously came up when there was there were rioters, protesters. We'll call them protesters, not rioters, because that's that sort of leads into the alt-right opinion that these people were just violent, destructive people. But during the protests, there were people tearing down Confederate statues, and PragerU puts out this video in response to it.
Robert E. Lee was connected to George Washington through his father, Light Horse Harry Lee, Washington's cavalry commander, and his wife, Martha Washington's great.
We gotta go through all these. Okay.
Genealogy.
Robert E. Lee. Why should he have a statue? Reason number one: his dad was connected to George Washington in the military.
We need stats.
Honestly,
Everyone, George Washington's second.
I don't know why the audio is fucking up so bad in this. Where do we get to the next bit? Here we go. We'll skip ahead.
Let's continue
Because we can't watch the full video on their Twitter anymore.
here because we got a lot
It
to
gets
cover.
so much worse.
Daughter. Lee's home at Arlington House was just 10 miles from Washington's Mount Vernon.
Oh my god.
Location. It is the site of Arlington National Cemetery.
Quickly.
That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything.
After 30 years of military service, Lee led U.S. Marines to crush the attempted slave rebellion.
And this is like one of the worst things. This is one of the worst things. You've probably already seen someone covering this better than I have. Lee led U.S. Marines to crush the attempted slave rebellion. Like, they just outright stating that Robert E. Lee led the U.S. Marines to stop slaves who were rebelling against the idea of them being slaves. They didn't want to be slaves anymore, and PragerU is selling this as a good thing. What a legend. What a hero of the Confederacy. Yeah, who puts up statues to failed insurrectionist leadership? Morons, losers.
Slave rebellion by radical abolitionist John Brown.
By radical abolitionist. How dare John Brown want to abolish slavery? You get the point. I think you get the point. If we could find the whole video, it'd be nice if there was a re-upload of the base video. But essentially, yeah, the removal of Confederate statues. And then Aunt Jemima changed their branding. I think there was another brand that had... Because like the phrase Aunt Jemima leads into some old school racist stereotypes. And there was another one. Uncle Ben's, maybe? No, I don't know. There are a few different types of... racist stereotypes that persist today in modern marketing. And here's a thing that ties into this, which I saw today. Not that Pauline Hanson mask. This is a thing. This is from the Daily Fail. Ew. They just outright state it, though. They just outright state the word that I don't want to say. Pauline Hanson divides her supporters by posting a picture wearing a gollywog face mask through the airport, and not for the reason you think. For those of you who don't know what gollywog is, it's very, very, very racist depiction of Aboriginal children. It's this. It's what a gollywog is. Do I need to elaborate? I don't think that I do need to elaborate, so I will furthermore not elaborate. However, Pauline Hanson has decided, racist nation leader Pauline Hanson has decided to wear a mask with, quite frankly, racism on, just racism all over the... She just thinks it's a giggle. Look at this smirk on this bitch's face. You can tell she's smiling behind that. She's like, oh yes, this is quite a laugh, isn't it? She's like, I think this is quite a laugh. Please explain. Australian Sambo culture. She is, quite frankly, I want to say she is the definition of a cunt. But again, whenever we call someone a cunt, we have to remember that she lacks the warmth and the depth. So, just, continuing on the racism thing. Anyways, I think I get the suspicion. Hang on. I get the suspicion. Let's have a look here. Did she say a...
I see you've
Kiara.
brought guests.
Welcome to the Rogue Room. Welcome in, friends. Thank you, Raiders. We're talking justice. We're talking racism. We're talking all of these things. How's it going, Kiara? How'd your stream go? Here's some party lights for you. We're also shitting on one of Australia's most loved to hated people. As in, everybody loves to hate this person. How'd your stream go? What were you doing tonight? Tell us all about it. Can I get... Let's do this. There we go. It didn't work. Oh, because it's SO, isn't it? I'm an idiot. I don't even know my own commands. There you go. So what were you chatting about tonight? Tell us all about it, please. All Aussie cunt is a term of... Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, Fister. It's like most of us, when we call someone a cunt, it's a good thing. Hey, go and cunt. But if we call someone a shit cunt, that's a bad thing. If we call someone a dog cunt, it's a bad thing. Oh yeah, the term wog is a British imperial term for working class natives from Africa to India. Was a term you heard used as a child in the 1980s. Yeah, I know the term has been around for a while. It's not a new term. by any stretch, but gollywog specifically is used very, very, in a very outright. I mean, the term wog is also used in a very racist way. But, you know, the use of the phrase gollywog tends to refer to a really, really atrocious racial sentiment. And here is the leader or like the founder of a political party in Australia who has been, it seems like we are unable to get rid of her and One Nation, honestly. They're reprehensible people. And here she is wearing a mask in one of the Australian airports that has depictions of that illustration, that racist artistry on it. I guess you could call it artistry. There you go, Fox. You're talking, Carl talked about Disney movies and a Lifetime movie called Cyber Seduction, the Lifetime equivalent of Reefer Madness. That sounds awesome. That sounds awful awesome. Anyway. But anyway, we were talking about, we've been discussing, the George Floyd sentencing, which is, you know, well, not the George Floyd sentencing, the guilty verdict. He's been found guilty. We now have to wait for proper sentencing. But yeah, we got into the discussion around Pauline Hanson over the Aunt Jemima thing and the Confederate statues. In the months that followed, numerous U.S. states and cities restricted the use of force by police, revamped disciplinary systems, and subjected police departments to closer oversight. And here we get to the mistrial thing. Excuse me. Greens versus Liberal versus Labour. This would only work if people. I feel like
brought guests.
Rooster, thank you for the raid, friend.
Friends.
We're still in our We're still in our raid colors anyway. Here, we're doing a democracy, Greens versus Liberals versus Labour. But this only makes sense if you're an Australian. These are Australian political parties. I think there is a variant of this in the UK, but it's a bit different in America. Anyway, there's a Lifetime movie that gets everything wrong about porn. That sounds incredible. I would love to see that from the perspective of, you know, somebody took an idea, somebody took a concept in their head. I love that idea of, like, no one's voting on the poll. I love that idea of, you know, somebody creating fiction because they like the basic concept of something and they want to write about it. A good example. Here's a movie I've been meaning to watch. I've been meaning to watch this movie called... Oh, there you go. The Assignment. Also known as Tomboy, formerly known as Reassignment, and Tomboy, A Revenger's Tale. It is an action crime thriller directed by Walter Hill and co-written by Hill and Dennis Hamill. The film stars Michelle Rodriguez and all these other people. It's about Michelle Rodriguez is forcibly transitioned and then, I think, goes on a revenge quest because she was forcibly transitioned. And it sounds absolutely atrocious, like Walter Hill does not understand the concept of transition at all and just wrote a movie based on the most surface level understanding of it. And to that end, I want to see it just to see how fucking badly it's been interpreted. And I've considered watching it for the purposes of researching for a video that I would do later down the track. Anyway. Forced feminization is totally a thing. Well, that's what Biden's doing with the vaccines. He's forced feminizing people. Everyone's going to be a femboy soon. Anyway, where were we? That's what happened to me. That's what happened to me too. I got forced feminized and now I'm dressed like Harley Quinn. So, anywho's. Yeah, Labour, you're meant to be good. Liberal, fuck you conservative cunts. Greens, the Greens are alright. I'd vote Greens. I think I will vote Greens in the next election. Anywho's, let's come back to this. I want to find out what the reasoning was behind the, hoping to come out as bi. There you go. I'll probably, you skip that Netflix classic. Let's go back to our bisexual lighting. And, Chauvin's lawyer call for mistrial rejected. After closing arguments were heard, Judge Peter Cahill rejected a defense request for a mistrial based in part on comments from a Democratic representative, Maxine Waters, who attended protests in Minneapolis this week and said, "We've got to get more confrontational if Chauvin wasn't convicted of murder." The judge told Chauvin's lawyer that the politician's comments may have given you something on appeal that may result in this whole trial being overturned. Excuse me. Earlier on Tuesday, the U.S. President Joe Biden said he was praying for the right verdict in the murder trial. That's how big this whole situation was. You know, the U.S. President actually weighing in on, you know, one incident, just the one incident of police brutality that led to a death of a person of color. And, of course, you know, the reason why he weighs in the first place is because, well, because it's just spiraled all these, it's not spiraled, sorry, it's ignited all these discussions around, around systemic racism, which is pretty obviously prominent in the United States for anyone who missed that. I'm praying the verdict is the right verdict, which is, I think it's overwhelmingly in my view. I wouldn't say that unless the jury was sequestered now, would not hear me say that. City has been on edge in recent days, not just over the Chauvin case, but over the deadly police shooting of a 20-year-old black man, Dante Wright, in the nearby Minneapolis suburb of Brooklyn Center on April 11. Somebody mentioned that this happened 10 miles away from where Chauvin killed Floyd. 10 miles. If I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong there. But anyway. Yeah, it just, you know, we have a little glimpse of, a lot of people are saying, and I want to hear chat's thoughts on this, a lot of people are saying this is not justice. You know, at the end of the day, this is not justice, the man is still dead. And until we're aware of the full-on sentencing, because now he's been found guilty, and I think chances are he is going to prison. You know, we know the sentencing in, what was it, 2 weeks, 2 months, someone said exactly when. Heard cops murdering the black girl and then saying Blue Lives Matter. Did they really? Is this about Ma'Khia? Is it Ma'Khia? Ma'Khia Bryant? Is that what her name was? Is that the one? But yeah, I find it difficult to find this as a I find it difficult to find this a justice scenario. And it's interesting, I want to talk more philosophically about the concept of justice. Justice would be overturning the system that led to Floyd's and others' deaths. Exactly. Yeah, he deserves to go to prison. This is the problem, you know, as someone who is largely a prison abolition type, and a capital punishment abolition type. I still think this is one of those circumstances. This is the thing, is regrettably, the prison industrial complex is more than likely not going to only keep prisons open for the worst of the worst. You know, they're not going to dramatically, and like I would like them to dramatically reform the prison system so that people are not getting sent to prison for non-violent offenses and drug possession and things of that nature. It's ridiculous how many people are in prison for things that they should not be in prison for. But, you know, my view on it is ideal scenario. There would be smaller prisons for just the worst of the worst. People that you simply cannot reform, simply you cannot rehabilitate. You know? And yeah, I agree with you there, character. It kind of feels like Chauvin is a scapegoat who will be used to say, hey, see, the system works. We got the bad apple. Exactly. He just shot the girl, didn't even try to get a less than lethal shot in the back. Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, he definitely deserves to go to prison, and I think he will. I think he's going to become the sacrificial lamb at the end of the day. Hang on. But yeah, I do agree with Draco here. Don't suggest people be raped. I do disagree with that. And that's honestly where the term rape culture even came from. For those of you who are aware of the phrase rape culture, it actually originally stemmed from the culture of men in prison being raped. On a routine basis. It's not specifically about like rapes happening on university campuses and things of that nature. But of course, over time, the meanings of these words, these phrases, they change. Yeah. 8 times, Jesus Christ. I feel like I need a mental sabbatical for a second. Just give me a sec. I need to just give me a moment. Here we go. Hang on, I need to be out of the way. There we go. This is good. This is... Look him. Here we go. Let's eye bleach it. Look, 7-week-old foster baby already beginning his force training. Look, it's one of those. I forget. It's a goat. I forgot which animal it is. That's unusual for eye bleach, but okay. I was told you might appreciate my grandpa's special milestone. This WW2 vet and retired farmer is celebrating his 100th birthday today. There you go. Look, dog. Why my fiance and our dog say goodbye to me? That's adorable. A lamb, sorry. I'm tired. Hey, check it out, a bird. We got a bird. A raccoon and a dog. At some point in their evolution, bush babies must have seen some shit. Oh, fuck. Yes. Okay, it's probably enough eye bleach. Is that enough eye bleach? No, it's not. Because we need to have a look at this. You need to see this one. You need to see this one. Here's a copium right-wing reaction from Florida man Wild Bill for America, a religious loon who is 100% wrong on everything, but is good to watch whenever you think the media are exaggerating MAGA nutters. Let's have a gander. I haven't responded to any of your conversations in chat. Sorry, like the actual conversation you folks are going on about. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've missed most of it. So sorry about that. All right, let's have a look at this. The lynching of American cops. Wild Bill for America.
I saw a very disturbing meme a few days ago. There was a police officer who...
already sounds like Riley Grace Rochon right out of the gate. I saw a very disturbing meme a few days ago. That's a meme. At least he said at least he pronounced it right. A meme. A meme.
had tossed his uniform...
That's mean. I shouldn't insult Riley Grace Rochon. But yeah, like the thing about the memes.
Shirt and gun belt on the hood of his police car, and he was walking away. What happens when American cops stop enforcing the law? What happens when they refuse to patrol black neighborhoods? What happens when...
Okay, just straight into it. What happens when they stop patrolling black neighborhoods? Yeah, people stop dying. Less people die. Yeah, crazy that.
And good cops take off their uniforms and walk away because they are sick of being targeted by black racists, leftist militants.
Black racists.
And the entire Democratic
It looks like he'll sell you insurance.
Party. Every good cop in America knows that they...
Rena, thank you so kindly for the 100
By
bits.
Abby, love you.
I love you too, Rena. Have a good one, and please, stay safe. I don't know why I said stay safe, but actually, before we go on with this, I just want to bring something up that I sent to Jacinta. Jacinta's now just a secondary character in the stream, for the record. She's just a background character that exists and occasionally pops into chat. Not that one. That's a different friend. There was a picture I sent to Jacinta earlier. Where is it? Oh, did I send it? Did it go through? Oh, no. Please tell me it went through. I think it did. Oh, no. I don't think it did. Oh, you fucking cunt. It didn't get sent through. Okay. There was a badge. Let me find it really quickly. Okay. This is not the same picture. Here we go. This is the picture I found. This is the one. Here we go. Here's the thing. Presented without context. Just do whatever you want with that information. You can read it. I don't need to do anything here. I don't need to contribute anything here. I'm just going to sit here and let you take in all the information available to you. Runaway Slave Patrol or Los Angeles County Cops. Notice the design of the badges there. Yeah, it's hard to look at that and be shocked. 1312. Anyways, let's continue with the video. Oh no, not a political stream. Crazy that. Yeah, because I'm a political streamer. That's what I do.
Could be railroaded into prison nowadays for simply doing their job. Leftist militants and the entire Democrat are sick of being targeted by black racists, leftist militants, and the entire Democrat Party. Every good cop in America knows that they could be railroaded into prison nowadays for simply doing their job.
What good cops?
Being a cop has always been a danger, and sadly
the audio just cut out.
Political lynch mobs are making it impossible.
Yeah, how often do cops go to fucking prison? Exactly. We're looking at the rare incident right now where one of them may actually end up going to prison for the first time in who knows how fucking long. Getting them sent to prison is like fucking pulling teeth. You're absolutely right. We're looking at the one case where it might happen. He still has to be sentenced. Right? All you hear from him is choice our insurance premiums are cheap for doing their job. Their job is to kill black people in the middle of the street while onlookers record them and tell them to stop? Is that their fucking job? I don't think it is. No, it's not. They seriously do not realize how dumb they sound when they're saying cops will be quitting. What it sounds like is cops will say, what, we can't kill blacks anymore. Yeah, that's literally what they're saying. And I've seen... I think I've seen actually either comments from cops or comments from people who are related to cops or whatever, who are saying that they're going to leave the force because of this verdict against Derek Chauvin. And it's like, so you're upset that you can't murder black people in the streets anymore. And you know what really, really fucking sucks? You know what really upsets me about this whole situation is, again, this is not going to be justice. Because at the end of the day, there are still cops out there who are going to be going out murdering black people freely, and some of them are absolutely going to be retributive as a result of the Chauvin guilty verdict. You know? There's absolutely going to be retributive justice. Yes, I am using the phrase justice here because we're going to discuss the concept of justice. Because those cops are going to feel like they have had injustice committed upon them, against the system they've become a part of, and thus they're going to go out and they're going to go execute more black people in the streets. It would so own the libs if they leave the force. Anyways, that's exactly what the cops want to get rid of, yeah. Are you a bad person for wanting a black lifer to get hold of Chauvin? We were talking about before, like, we don't want to have the discussion of, like, let's wish ill upon Chauvin. He's already more than likely going to prison. I'm not a big fan of like the whole idea of, I hope someone makes him his bitch. I hope someone shanks him, yada, yada. He's probably going to, if he ends up in jail, he's more than likely going to be in protected custody. Anyways, Southern cops developed from slave catchers, cops in the North developed from anti-worker gangs. He'll be in solitary or in some kind of protected situation.
Possible for good cops to do their jobs.
Point out one good cop to me, for the record.
Many despicable lies of the left is that American cops are out to murder blacks just because they're black.
Murder blacks. Notice the use of the phrase blacks there. That wasn't an accident.
Barack Obama started that horrible rumor, and it has grown exponentially thanks to corrupt media and militant black racists like Maxine Waters. Violently attacking American law enforcement officers has become a moneymaker for violent criminals. The city of Minneapolis rushed to give $27 million to the family of George Floyd.
Good. Give his family money.
What kind of message does that send to violent criminals? Al-Qaeda...
He wasn't being a violent criminal. He was murdered over a counterfeit $20 bill, which we're not even sure was counterfeit. I don't think the evidence was ever even surfaced. I think it was a suspected counterfeit $20 bill, and he lost his life over it.
Is now offering a $60,000 reward.
Wait. Go back. The subtitles here say Al-Qaeda is now... What, did he say that correctly? Hang on.
George Floyd. What kind of message does that send to the family of George Floyd?
Hang on.
What kind of message does that send to violent criminals? Al-Qaeda is now offering a $60,000...
What the fuck does that... What does Al-Qaeda have to... What the fuck does Al-Qaeda have to do with this scenario?
Welcome back.
Ram, thank you for the
tier
cause. 1, you fucking legend, you. Thank you so kindly.
reward for the killing of an American law enforcement officer.
What the shitting fucking diarrhea is he spewing out of his cock
destruction of law and
holster?
order is a tactics used by tyrants to subject entire nations to brutal dictatorships. We've seen
Yeah, this dude fucking high. I feel like I'm slowly just losing my sobriety just listening to him.
this pattern all over the world. Adolf Hitler used it to establish the Nazi regime.
Here we go with the Hitler comparisons. Ding, ding, ding. We have a Hitler comparison.
Communists used it to do the same thing. Millions upon millions of people were murdered and starved in political prison camps. And we are seeing the USA going down that same path. How could this happen in the home of the brave, the land of the free?
Home of the brave, land of the free, white people, not anyone else.
That's an easy question. All of this nonsense is happening because America walked away from her Christian heritage.
Oh, good Lord, here we go again. Do they not realize what the separation of church and state means?
Honesty, integrity, moral decency, and work ethics were flushed down the toilet and replaced with atheism, racism, lying, disrespect for authority, all kinds of sexual...
Maybe the fact that your authority is entirely based on, we wrote a set of rules, and if we don't like something about you specifically, that's a rule that you've broken, and thus we get to not ceremonially, thus we get to capitally punish you however we feel, however we see fit. You're thinking atheists are amoral. There's that whole thing again. So this guy is delusional.
Perversion. We used to be known as a nation under God, and look where we are now. The only thing that can stop this hellish descent into chaos and violence is a wholehearted return to the Christian faith upon...
Is he advocating for a crusade? Is he advocating for the crusades? Sounds like he's advocating for crusades. Just crusades.
which the USA was founded. The 10 Commandments should be back in every classroom, and sexual perverts and left-wing militants should be removed from every class.
Left-wing militants. Who were all those people who were storming the Capitol building again? Were they left-wingers with their guns, trashing the White House? Forgot. I don't know.
Classroom. In the Bible, James 4:7 says, whoever...
Shut the fuck up. Fucking Bible bullshit. Wish they were left-wingers.
knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin.
Yeah, that could be interpreted like just whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. Like, that's entirely interpretive. Why am I looking at his face again? You can read that from any perspective. Literally any perspective you want. Why would you use a vague phrasing like that that could be interpreted as left-leaning, right-leaning, completely apolitically if you want to, arguably. Like, that doesn't really help your case there, whatever your name is, Mr. Insurance Salesman. Leftist hookers drugged them with their pussies. Yeah, remember that situation? Left-wing prostitute Jezebels were drugging the Proud Boys. Yeah, that was a piss take, by the way. May you introduce Bill to Christian communism. We have many right things that he ain't doing. There you go. Yeah, I can't stand that sort of Christian either. And they keep cropping up. They keep showing up everywhere. Why do they do this? Jezebels, like the saucy femboy Jezebels, like apparently yours truly. I'm just pretending to be a girl on Twitch to get viewers, apparently. Yeah, imagine how mind-numbingly boring the entire world would be if we all had the same spiritual beliefs. So wait, what are we talking about? Are you guys talking about Al-Qaeda? Anyways, what have I missed? Have I missed anything? What hate exactly am I spreading? I just want to come back to that. What hate am I spreading exactly? Yeah, no more Mr. Insurance guy. Anyway, so what are you talking about? AQI, AQC? I don't know what's going on. I've missed that part of the conversation. Oh, I was just reading a message earlier that I caught while we were watching the video, and I just didn't respond to it because it's some dickhead in chat who thinks they have a point to make. But every single cop is bad because they're part of a system that is inherently oppressive. And by continuing to contribute to that system, we're hearing about so many more cop killings going on, especially lately. Any cop who continues to be a part of that system, you can't fix it, right? The only way you can fix it is to rally against it and demand systemic change. You're not going to fix the system by integrating into it. This is the whole point. This is the whole problem. Because the reason that it doesn't work, right, is because if you're a cop, Shay, still, you're fucking kidding me. Still legal for cops to rape you if it's part of their you're fucking kidding me. What? Excuse me, I'm just going to get on Elon Musk's next rocket. I'm sick of this planet. I'm leaving. What? How is that even an investigative technique? Had a massive court case a couple of years ago. Bill is part of a Christian rebel biker club and in some videos is dressed like a leather daddy. A cowboy hat in Florida. Fucking gross. That is fucked. That is absolutely fucked. But yeah, the main reason that we say stuff like defund the police, there was mention earlier of like poor black communities, the reason that, you know, there is so much crime in those communities, but is because they are impoverished and they are it's generational poverty and there's not enough money in those communities. That's part of the whole defund the police slogan. Take the money away from the police force, which is categorically, systemically targeting people of color communities, black communities largely. And put that funding towards systems that can help lift those people out of impoverished scenarios. That is one of the major tenets of the defund the police narrative, right? Yeah, pour money into communities instead of militarizing police. Disempower the police so we don't have more gangland killings. Because that's essentially what it was. It was essentially a cop deciding that George Floyd was an enemy. Ma'Khia Bryant was an enemy. And just whoever, like there's so many, Breonna Taylor. They just decided this is the thing that I have to shoot at. That's what they decided. You know, how about we demilitarize the police, take away lethal weapons for one thing. They should only be operating on less than lethal, especially if they're beat patrol cops. They don't need lethal firearms. Remember the LA School System Police Department had a tank and grenade launchers for fucking what? And this is inherently a fascist regime. At the end of the day, like, it may not be outright fash right now, but all of the things that we know of the police in the US is directly fascistic. And you've seen it at the protests. You've seen the way they behave at those protests. The cops exercising violence. The thing with the fucking Donald Trump photo shoot, remember that with the Bible? Remember that thing? They were launching tear gas grenades at protesters to get them out of the way. To just assert their dominance. Why are you defending this system? Anyone who is actually defending the police system, at least specifically in the United States. Now, we are going to talk about Australian police as well a little bit. Because there is, obviously, institutional police racism in Australia as well. But, like, this is the thing. Your understanding of police training from former police is that they're taught that their lives are in more danger than they really are, so just shoot to kill for any hit of suspicion. Jesus fucking Christ. And that wouldn't shock me. Like, I'm entirely unsurprised by that notion. You know, military, are they really donating their equipment? UK undercover policing relationship scam. And yeah, the drug war is a part of it. The drug war never ended. It's still ongoing. And we already talked about how the drug war was kicked off as a movement to justify targeting black communities and back in those days the hippies as well. You know, they used the drug war to target what they saw as enemies within the state. enemies of the state within the state, was the notion. So by demonizing anyone who was on any sort of drugs, which, you know, again, I'm completely in favor of rehabilitation and B, drug decriminalization. There should be no reason anybody should be going to prison for possessing or taking drugs. You know. Hello, Tom Badills. How's it going? Trained by the IDF. What's the IDF again? They need treatment, not punishment. Exactly. It's a sickness. If you get addicted to drugs and it's destroying your life and it's causing you to act in ways that you wouldn't otherwise, you need treatment. You don't need a prison cell. You know? That's not helping anyone. It is known that people who get sent to prison for any reason, anyone who spends any time in prison actively suffers from deteriorating health. Which I hate to use him as an example of something bad happening to prisoners, because we hate Harvey Weinstein and he should just fucking cark it already. I don't care what happens to him. But there was an article recently that mentioned he has been suffering deteriorating health effects from being in prison, and that happens to anyone who goes to prison. Psychologically, physically, there is a noted trend towards failing health when you're in that kind of situation, for obvious reasons. Do I need to elaborate? Yeah, it's an incredibly stressful and traumatic experience, and people who go to prison, they come out different. They're not the same person. The wiki article doesn't cover last year's government push to legalize the ability to... Really? Why? What the fuck? Let's have a look at this. All the more reason to self-medicate on estrogen. It's really not because the types of drugs in prisons are fucking terrible. The failed drug war is what changed police training from public servants walking a beat to urban warfare, military-style policing. Yeah. Which, again, is fash. Around the end of 2010 or 2011, it was disclosed in UK media that a number of undercover police officers had, as part of their false persona, entered into intimate relationships with members of targeted groups and in some cases proposed marriage or fathered children with protesters. We're reading this, by the way, who were unaware their partner was a police officer in a role as part of their official duties. Various legal actions followed, including 8 women who took action against the Metropolitan Police and Association of Chief Police Officers, stating that they were deceived into long-term intimate relationships by 5 officers, including Mark Kennedy, the first officer to be identified as such, who was publicly identified on the 21st of October 2010 as infiltrating social environmental justice campaigns, and Mark Kennedy himself, who claimed in turn that he had been incompetently handled by his superiors and denied psychological counseling. According to The Guardian, Kennedy sued the police for ruining his life and failing to protect him from falling in love with one of the environmental activists whose movement he infiltrated. This is fucking gross, dude. Anyways. Spy cops. Bill amendment defeated. What's this one? Here we go. Ban on allowing undercover agents to torture, kill, and rape defeated by government. Let's have a look at this. An explicit ban on allowing why is that even? Why is that phrase there, allowing undercover agents to kill, torture, or rape? Why is that even a thing to be considered in the first place? MPs voted 256 to 316, majority 60, against Labour's proposal to specify in the Covert Human Intelligence Studies Criminal Conduct Bill the limits on what such agents should be allowed to do. So he went undercover with his penis. Under the opposition amendment, the limits would have included causing death or bodily harm, violating the sexual integrity of a person, and subjecting someone to torture or cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. The bill aims to protect undercover operatives from prosecution if they are forced to break the law on operations, and also seeks to define circumstances in which operatives can commit crime, replacing various pieces of overlapping legislation. The bill aims to protect undercover operatives from prosecution if they are forced to rape someone? Is that... Yeah, how does rape have any use? I can maybe vaguely see the notion of committing some kind of physical violence pertaining to self-defense, largely. The proposal was to ban cops from doing that, which is good. The proposal was defeated, so cops can do that. Jesus Christ. How does the UK continue to get so much worse every time I hear about it? Good Lord. Anyways. Yeah, how does rape have any use at all? Especially for investigation. What is it? How's that helping? They're gonna rape for this info? What? Yeah, what's going on with this? How is this justifiable? Is what I would like to know. Alright. You realize that they can defund the police and they can put that funding into the, like we mentioned before, defund those police. They've got more funding than they need. And the situation is already bad enough. So the funding needs to go somewhere else to fix the systemic problems in America. Right? Yeah, I'd like to get off too, Rooster. Can I hop off? Can I get off the world? I'm done. So now it's the plague-ridden police state, Turf Island. Remember, please refer to it by the full name. Yeah, cops should not be allowed to rape anyone, period. Cops should not be allowed to rape anyone, period. End of discussion. We come back around to this tweet. Oh, hang on. Actually, because we're just sort of like rambling at this point, we're going to take our break now. CEO of Google Unity, hello. We're going to take our quick be right back. We're going to do an ad break. And then when we come back, we'll continue with this discussion. I'm just going to go take a leak. But yeah, don't go away, friendos. Mind yourselves. Be civil, or I'll punch you when I get back. Socks, I'm sorry. I don't know what the track was when you said that. I'm back though. But if you want the playlist, it's just Stream Beats Synthwave. How do I share it? If you go to this playlist in Spotify, or you can just go to the Stream Beats website. That has everything on there. It's all DMCA free music you can play on stream. I'm just very lazy, so I just listen to literally this playlist, and there's also a lo-fi playlist. Fester Gently and Ms. Madison, by the way, welcome to the Rogue Room, both of you. Sorry I missed your follow alerts. Are we still going? What have I missed? Should I go back through chat? I got green tea. I might leave that steeping in there for a bit, actually. Green tea with milk and sugar. I feel like I'm blaspheming against tea. But I don't care. Oh, I gotta plug my charger in shortly. Give me a second to do something. You posted something pretty. I will take a look very shortly. I'm just trying to find something here. Okay. I'm doing my obsessive thing that I do with my what's it called? Just a teaspoon of sugar with my diet, because I'm very, very obsessed with knowing how many calories I've had in a day. Legitimately, incredibly obsessed. It's honestly unhealthy. I feel like that's incorrect, but whatever. I'll fix that up after the fact. Anyways. Part of the European crime bill language as rape in European terms could be groping with pat-downs or using a finger, even when not wearing gloves. See, that's the problem with interpretive terminology. They really need to clarify that. Because most people are going to see the term rape as sexual penetration. Forcible. Illicit. You always try to follow when streamers are away. Your name is sometimes a problem. Oh, I can see that, but this is a pretty crude stream, let's be honest with ourselves. I'm trying to use them at will. Pomegranate green tea sounds good. Well, it does sound good. Are you considering this on your house planning walk? If you give police broad powers, they will use them. Give them guns, they will use them. They'll take the easiest option unless they're trained to do otherwise, which is the major problem. There really needs to be a significant reform in the way the police systems operate. The UK has pushed the hardest with Brexit to get rid of sexual violence in the name of justice, much like the Blue Life shit in America. Part of the propaganda of Brexit was about tearing up the Human Rights Act. You remember a story about a little kid who was actually arrested because he was misbehaving in class and they thought it was an appropriate thing to do. The thing that annoys me the most, with regards to kids with this thing, aside from, the kids being shot, that's not a good thing. Can we stop shooting kids, America? Can you stop shooting children, America? We have a cat. Don't you dare claw my back up. Hello. He's on antibiotics at the moment. He's sick. Smudge is sick, so he's being treated for sneezes. He's got sneezes where he's been sneezing blood out of his nose. Not great. Not the best. But he's on antibiotics and he seems a little bit better today. So that's good. It seems like he's got an infection or something. With regards to the kids thing, one of the things that I heard the US has been doing in some states is threatening to take children away from their parents if they can't pay a school lunch debt. Why are children as young as like fucking 8 years old or whatever incurring a debt that could have them taken away from their parents? And you know exactly why it's set up that way. You know why it's set up that... Yeah, it's been going on for years. It's not a new thing. It's like, you know exactly why that system is designed to do that. And it's largely happening in poorer communities, which tend to be largely black. Like, don't act like the system is not racist in my channel. Do not act like America is not an outright, systemically racist country in my channel. It's obvious. You don't need a degree to see this shit. You don't need to do sociology to see this shit. America is designed to directly impoverish people of color. America is a white supremacist nation by its very definition, by the actions it takes on a regular basis. The only reason Derek Chauvin was sentenced to guilty, received a guilty sentencing and will probably go to prison, the only reason he will go to prison, I think, if he does, is to be a sacrificial lamb to distract everybody else, to say, look, the system works. The justice system works. It totally does. They will send him away to make it look like the country is actually not racist, but it blatantly is. Gone forever and deleted. You have no kids. No more kids. Got home and checked your Twitch and got called an asshole for asking someone to speak. Really? What? When was that? Which cunt did that? They can go fuck themselves. Should you report what thing? Repost. Oh, repost the thing. Yes, repost. Yeah, I missed something. Yeah. One of the most audited places in the United States are the poorest parts of Mississippi, rather than the places where financial crimes are actually being committed, like Manhattan and Silicon Valley. And you know why that is? Because, well, not about the auditing thing. Oh, that Apex, okay. Hurt your feelings. Something to cheer us up. This is giving me big Alucard vibes. I've got salted mixed nuts. Dude, ever since seeing Alucard in Castlevania, I'm like, I want to look like him. But like, I'm a girl, but he already looks very effeminate anyway. Just like... May I just I already actually almost kind of look like that, except I've got tits. I'm pretty lean at the moment, actually. This Alucard. I wish I could have hair like that. Oh my, just his, oh. Iggy Pop with a sword. But like, I'm not into dudes. He can top me though. I'll just pretend he's a... Never mind. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to put your sword down. He's very pretty. Very pretty animated man. And vampire, because vampires are pretty. Just reminds me of, Here's a good comparison, actually. You know who's a good comparison? Before he got rid of it. Come on, give me a big picture, please. Looks a bit like Kurt Cobain here, actually. Before he got rid of the hair, Eric Northman in True Blood. Another blonde, long-haired vampire. I think I have a type. Yeah, for anyone who hasn't noticed, spell Alucard backwards. Alexander Skarsgård is just an unfairly attractive person. Just like, yeah. That's not fair, okay? Alex, that's not fair, mate. You can't do that to everyone else. You're not allowed. Okay, Alexander Skarsgård, you're not allowed to. Alright? That was a tangent we got off on. He can do... He can what he wants to. Radio Fox, have a good one. Thanks for kind of hanging out. What are you going to do with that sword? I genuinely, unironically, took you way too long to think to spell Alucard backwards. If I might spoil something very minor, Alucard in Castlevania very early on, after he's introduced, literally spells that out for the audience. He says something like, "They called me Alucard, the opposite of you," and it's like, oh. Like, for anyone who missed it, it's very, very just like to the point. Spoiler for an over 100-year-old book. No, I'm referring to Castlevania specifically. But I suppose, the stories aren't exactly original. But yeah, not just bad training. The county with the most cop assaults on autistic people, and you believe the most murders of autistic people, is the one that boasts about how much autism training they give their cops. So fucking Christ. The number of times the US police have shot and tased... Hang on. Oh, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this. But I'll just read the title to you. Glendale police officers use stun gun and beat an unarmed man. Well, for me, sword is a euphemism for the penis. I'm a sword lesbian in the sense that I'm a lesbian with a penis. That's the joke. Also, I have an actual sword. Or a replica of a sword. But I actually, unironically, have considered looking into fencing training. I've been meaning to look at this for a while. I actually wouldn't mind doing fencing. And it doesn't look like there are any particularly near me though. I'll have a gander later on. But I always wanted to learn some actual swordplay. Whether it will be HEMA, historical European martial arts, or going back to karate and learning how to wield a katana or a bokken, or fencing. Yeah, it's one thing I've wanted to do for a while. I think fencing would be the one I'd like the most. Meat saw, baloney pony, ham candle, schmeat. Your dad used to fence. He had pictures of him back in the day with his big afro and a fencing outfit. That sounds fucking awesome. That's sweet. Remember, over 50% of everyone in US prisons has mental health problems, learning disabilities, or neurodiversity, which would only be exacerbated by the system itself. Hang on, I need to do something. Yeah, which would only be exacerbated by the, being forced into a concrete box for 24 hours a day for years on end. I mean, yes, they get recreation time and things like that, but the reality of the situation, yeah. Your mum used to fence and you played around with her old sword, which was probably not a great idea since it was rusty. Perhaps. But I do wonder, perhaps, if I could somehow get into fencing. No, I'm not stroking my genitals, I'm stroking my pussy, which is not my genitals. I don't have a pussy yet. Yeah, if I can find a place that's not too far away and not too hugely expensive, I wouldn't mind doing fencing. And I wouldn't mind getting my kids into it too if they can get into it. Thought fencing foils were dull? Probably are. Excuse me. I just think it'd be a neat skill to have. I'd like to learn to fence. Sabers are better. Let's have a look. Can adopt one from an animal shelter. Sabers look fucking cool. They do. I like the look of us. I wouldn't mind having a saber just as a display weapon. The Houton saber, that looks nice. Look at that. Fencing, you prefer gating. Ooh, I wouldn't mind a champagne saber though. And practice the art of sabrage. They have a small ball on the end instead of a sharp point. They still come tight when hit with them, even in full gear. Yeah, they're not designed to actually kill you. But yeah, sabrage, sabering a champagne bottle, is really cool. There is a trick to it. The bottle needs to be sat in ice. I think it has to be sat neck first in the ice for a good 10 minutes, half an hour, I'm not sure exactly. And this is all that I recall of the video that I watched. Once you're out, you're gonna head off, Rooster. Have a good one. Anyway, once you've got the bottle out, you've got to stick your thumb in the little hole at the bottom of the bottle and hold it tight. And you've got to run the saber along the seam of the bottle, and you have to do it in one swift motion. If you fail it, do not attempt it again. Hang on. I don't know if you've seen, like, there's been a number of people you've probably seen failing at sabrage. Yeah, this one's one of my favorites. This thing. $450 bottle, fucked it up. Yeah, practice on very cheap champagne. And, but there was one I saw, which was a video. I'm not going to bother finding it. But it was an office party. And they bought, like... No, it's not bench beer. They bought an $800 bottle of champagne. And the office boss was going to try to saber it, with no practice, of course. And tried it once, failed, and then tried again, and then just started basically hacking at it. And of course it shattered. Of course the bottle shattered. He went at it like 3 or 4 times and it just just completely and totally destroyed. No one was getting a drink out of that. $800 bottle of champagne. So if you're going to try sabrage, try with a cheap bottle of champagne first. Just slurp it off the floor, pretty much. If you are not already trained in the art of it, don't attempt it. It's also incredibly wasteful. But then what isn't wasteful in this day and age? What isn't fucking wasteful these days, right? Check out this 3-minute video of the water bottle ninja. Why do I feel like I've seen this kind of stuff before? I have seen this stuff before, and this dude's a fucking legend. Let's watch. Oh, hang on. I wonder if the music's DMCA. Just to be on the safe side. Fucking legend. Look at him go. Powerful. Look at the knife. Look at the form. Actually legit though. Like his form's actually decent. Complaining about capitalist decadence again. Always. He's got a dagger. Stabs with the dagger. He is too powerful. That man's is dead. Oh, the seltzer water. Don't be a water bottle around him. He will destroy you. These blades are going to be fucking sharp, dude. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Wolf Van Halen. A US person was able to successfully sabrage 66 bottles in a minute. How the fuck? While you were complaining about capitalism, I was learning the sword. Oh, that was awesome. Wearing a 13-year-old shirt. That was... Okay, that was fucking slick. Let's watch that one again. Look at this. Look, just like no effort. None whatsoever. Just clean cuts it. Doesn't even look. This dude's a legend. Studying the blade. This is what studying the blade looks like. While you were being cringe, we'll bring back our stream beats. I was studying the blade. Oh god, the whole value pack! He did the value pack! Look at that. What a king. Absolute king. Where is this man's crown? Yeah, he fucked the value pack up hard. This dude, this is the protagonist of Ghost Runner, for the record. For anyone who was curious, this is the protagonist of Ghost Runner. This is Jack. Someone crafted a kind of water bottles out of the skulls of his enemies. This is so good. Just imagining an old kendo master looking at this and crying internally. Why? Because the kendo master is simply not this good? I gotta do this. I need to get myself... I actually do legitimately want a katana, though. I do legitimately want to get a katana. Just a replica one, though. I don't want to, I don't want a katana that's sharp. Like the Ciri sword, the Frostmourne. Obviously, the lightsaber doesn't actually cut anything, sadly. But I do want... There was a really cool katana at the place where I got the Ciri sword from. Which I wouldn't mind having, but it's gone now. Studied kendo for like 60 years and hadn't attained this man's power level. How is he not drowning in pussy? Oh, well, I know why. He's too busy studying the blade. Yeah, it's not a real lightsaber, regrettably. Unfortunately, lasers don't work that way. Have I seen Man-at-Arms? I think I have. I think I have seen Man-at-Arms. Shall we talk about notions behind justice? Since this is a justice stream, we are talking about the justice system and things like that. I did kind of want to go over some of the concepts of justice. Another katana master. I've lied. I've lied to your heart. Welcome to the Rogue Room. Formerly Wormwife. Gonna pop by the stream in 5 years and I'm gonna have a full sword rack. Yes, I am. That is the goal. Is to make it so... Just to make it as a streamer so much so that there is an entire armory behind me. He's actually quite a nice guy. I used to chat with him on Twitter and he moved on to Japanese archery with melons. That's badass. Well, I wasn't going to go that far, Draco. I thought he was just studying the blade. Because we all know, you know, old monks and things like that, they would sacrifice any kind of sexual worldly pleasures to study the blade. And I am going to go and become a sword lesbian monk. I'm going to start my own monastery. Live your passions, right? Fuck yeah. Be who you want to be, do what you want to do, etc. You know, live that life. What do we think justice is? By the way, what are our thoughts on actual justice? Because, well, we've all been, and I've seen this sentiment around, and we talked about this before, the sentencing, or the guilty verdict, rather, of Derek Chauvin is not, it doesn't feel like justice. Justice is a myth is one way to look at it, certainly. Anti-pleasure is based. If he can afford the swords, let the man enjoy it, yeah, exactly. Let him go ham with it. Let him enjoy his swords. I would hate if someone took my swords away. Justice is the worst kind of drink. At least pour something in the glass other than ice. Justice is a decent electronic band. They did the trailer music for Assassin's Creed 2. For anyone who remembers that, that was a decent trailer. Did I ever watch that show where they'd have historical warriors versing each other? I think I've seen the one you're talking about. I think I've seen it. Accountability and closure is what you think of it as. Well, there's a few things here I wanted to talk about. There's a few subjects here. Was it Deadliest Warrior? That might have been it. That might have been it. Because I've seen a few little videos around. Show is so America-centric, as if there aren't many, many shows that are absolutely America-centric. Friend soy-faced the hell out of that show. Yeah, Deadliest Warrior does sound like a dumb show. Let me have a look. It's on Netflix, apparently. I don't want to watch it, I just want to know about it. television program in which information on historical or modern warriors and their weapons are used to determine which of them is the deadliest based upon tests performed each episode. It's just dog shit entertainment at the end of the day. It's designed to be as, I'd say approachable as possible. Yeah, dog shit entertainment. That's the best way to phrase it. Dog shit. Like the people who go around and buy storage containers. That's dog shit entertainment. The people who go antique hunting. That's dog shit entertainment. Yeah, I think justice is definitely subjective. What we've got here on Science Daily is a little paragraph, and we could use the Wikipedia article as well for justice. Like what Wikipedia says. Don't use Wikipedia as a source, kids. Shut the fuck up. Justice in its broadest sense is the principle that people receive that which they deserve with the interpretation of what constitutes deserving being impacted upon by numerous fields, with many differing viewpoints and perspectives, including the concepts of moral correctness based on ethics, rationality, law, religion, equity, and fairness. Which makes the whole concept so incredibly difficult to discern. So yeah, like the real concept of justice is entirely subjective. Yeah, Wikipedia cites its sources. Just cite their sources on your paper. And of course, consequently, the application of justice differs in every culture. And there are many people, like mentioned earlier, it's subjective. There are many people who are saying the George Floyd, Derek Chauvin, guilty sentencing situation is not justice. And will it be justice if he gets sentenced to life in prison? Will it be justice if he gets sentenced to capital punishment and is executed? Will it be justice if he's allowed to walk? Which I think many people would definitely say no. Duh. Like how are the people who are arguing that this was not a just trial, for example? How are those people seeing this as not a... Let me think for a second. That's the one question I want to ask, is, we have two sides of this discussion. As there always is. There's always two sides to these discussions. And one of them, of course, is everyone's happy to see that he has been found guilty. And everyone is keeping their fingers crossed that he will see prison time. And a lot of people are hoping that he will be in prison until the day he dies or will be executed. But then you've got the other side of the equation where they see it for some reason, despite all the evidence, despite the video and all this, there are some people who still look at it and see the guilty sentencing as unjust. It goes against justice. But my perspective is clouding my judgment here. I can't see their perspective other than the notion that they're being purposefully, willfully antagonistic. So you're for corporal punishment. 40 lashes, okay. Not capital punishment. Corporal punishment. Beatings. Break his knees. Just literally do the invert the knees thing. Hi, Catalina. How you doing? And I think a lot of people would look at this scenario and think of the beatings will continue until morale improves. Hold on a sec. Excuse me. I think I Oh, fucking Christ. Okay, I thought that would help. I'm just gonna drink. Hang on. Stand on his fucking neck for 9 minutes. I am of the belief... Fucking hell, dude. I should have muted my mic. This is the tricky thing with justice, right? We would look at the case of kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes. 19 hours till you're on bed from Twitter. There you go. We look at that and we think, oh yeah, that would be good. That would be retributive justice, which is outlined here. I'm just hovering over it. The theory of punishment that when an offender breaks the law, justice requires that they suffer in return, and the response to a crime is proportional to the offense. But yeah, a lot of us would be looking at it through the lens of an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Or at least eye for eye, blood for blood, tooth for tooth kind of thing. there are many people who would think that the best course of action would be retributive justice. And yet, I find myself in the particular situation, I find myself in the particular intellectual predicament, the particular ethical predicament, where, again, I've mentioned this before, I'm a lover of depictions of violence, but I'm not a lover of violence. I am a staunch pacifist at the end of the day. It goes against my values to think that a human life should be violently taken, even if that person has committed such an atrocious thing like Derek Chauvin did. And yeah, I agree with Worm, is like, I want him in prison, certainly want him in prison. And I am still, like, this hasn't changed my perception of prison abolition. I still think, prison reform is probably a better way to phrase it. You know, the way that the prison system is laid out now is inherently unjust. It's inherently an unjust system. And, but people like Derek Chauvin belong behind bars. And there is no rehabilitation for him. Like, rehabilitation for criminals who have offended is one of the ideal scenarios. Sorry, my throat's dry. Rehabilitation would be the ideal situation for some cases, I would argue. And I feel like Derek Chauvin is one of those cases where he does not deserve rehabilitation. You know? If somebody lashes out in anger and kills someone, then I think there is the potential to rehabilitate that person. If somebody maliciously kneels on a man's neck for 9 minutes, despite cameras on him, despite witnesses telling him to stop, despite having to know that what he was committing was a reprehensibly violent act, I don't think there's rehabilitation for that person. Yeah, it was such a slow public death. And in that circumstance, I have to consider that it was an outright intentional killing. It was an execution. It was something he did on purpose, despite EMTs telling him to stop. And in that particular situation, and again, this comes back around to the idea of, like, justice should be treated on a case-by-case basis. That is the one thing that I think the system does get right. You know, even then, it's not really on a case-by-case basis. Many other cases inform the punishment of further cases. You know, cases happening now are going to inform the results of cases further down the track. You may be too naive, but you believe most people can be rehabilitated. That's one of the perils of being dreadfully optimistic, quite frankly. And I am one of those people who is dreadfully optimistic, sadly. I look at this situation, and I still want to preserve the humanity of the people that we are punishing. Maybe humanity is not the best word for it. Well, I suppose that's the only thing. I mean, the problem with using the phrase humanity is it can carry many different meanings. Dignity, perhaps, not quite. What I mean when I say humanity is the potential for a person to be good. I think everyone is capable of being good. But again, perhaps that's me being too optimistic. You lean more to Demona than Goliath these days. I have not watched Gargoyles, sadly. Considering how most cops in the US are taught to be like that, maybe they can be brought out of that. This is the ideal situation. Is if police are taught, and like we know police are militarized. And Aurora, you've got a good point. Who has the right to decide who can be rehabilitated and who can't? And that's one of the major failings of the justice system as it is. We, on that case-by-case basis, on, individual judges, individual jurors, lawyers, all this. It's a flawed system because humans are involved. It's inherently going to be a flawed system. And perhaps the court of public opinion helped sway the judgment here, but the court of public opinion is entirely in the right, with the Chauvin case. The court of public opinion witnessed an execution and decided it was unjust, and led to such tremendous public backlash. But the unfortunate circumstances, cases like George Floyd's, are happening all the time in the United States. And not every one of those cases is going to get the kind of response that his did. And not every case is going to get that kind of public trial like Derek Chauvin did. And as a result, there are many situations where people are allowed to fly under the radar for committing heinous crimes. The work required for Chauvin would be high, and there's a willingness to reform that needs to be there, but if you can get it to happen, he could be, arguably. Yes. Supposed to be in bed, but asked Tom to start the wash so he could dry the clothes when you get home. But he didn't, so now you have to wait for the washer to be done. What a pain in the ass. And yes, yeah, he'd have to want reform, and cop immunity does need to end, absolutely. The sheer fact that a police officer is above the law is absurd. The fact that a police officer can get away with things that a civilian cannot is absurd and indicative of a broken system. And that system does need reform, that system does need treatment, that system is sick and it needs healing. And that healing comes in the form of taking that funding away and that militarization away and training those officers to be more capable of approaching a situation empathetically. If you don't do anything illegal, you don't have to worry about it. Should apply to the police. Yes, exactly. And it would be nice for people to stay in prison until they show actual reform. This is the issue that we came across earlier, Catalina, though. The problem that we have with someone... the problem that we have with the prison system is that people are being thrown in for arbitrary reasons that have been decided by the system. This is why this person is a criminal, thus we're going to put him in a concrete box behind iron bars. And what's going to happen is, try as they might, as much as they might want to reform themselves into a functional member of society according to society's definitions of what counts as a functional person, right? We talked about before how prison inherently leans into an unhealth crisis. People who go to prison come out of it psychologically damaged, physically damaged. They come out of it different people. They come out of it irrevocably scarred, and in a lot of cases, it's impossible to mend those people, essentially. Your ex has PTSD from prison. Exactly. That's not going to go away. And you could try to get him into therapy, but a lot of ex-cons find it incredibly difficult to find employment. Most places will not employ someone who's been to prison, and thus they're not going to have the income to go to therapy in the first place. The system has no intent on helping people it's put behind bars. It specifically seeks to damage those people. But then we have the particular conflict of someone like Chauvin, who definitely belongs in prison, most certainly. But what about all the other people that don't? Especially since his was a violent offense, yeah. Yeah, the system is happy to see people continue to be pushed to crime, absolutely. There's a reason there's so many people who offend again after getting out of prison. Hello, Chalice, how's it going? It takes away their right to vote, but not their citizenry, so they get nothing, yeah, pretty much. Once they've been to prison, they've essentially been revoked by the country in which they live, by and large. And in the case of America, and the case here in Australia... Actually, hang on. Here we go. I want to know something. Prisoners serving sentences of 5 years or longer in respect of convictions for offences against Australian federal, state or territory laws are prohibited from voting at federal elections. There's a thing. I just wanted to clarify, can Australian felons vote? And it seems like if they've served a term of 5 years or longer, they cannot. Yeah. Near no crimes are done separate of the material conditions we struggle in, exactly. The criminal justice system as it exists now is designed to protect the capitalistic state in which we live. And it is designed to continue propagating slavery without outright stating it's slavery. You know? And yeah, they get kickbacks for occupancy, and they put those prisoners to work, and those prisoners do not get... Well, I don't know if they get paid, per se. But they most certainly, you know, are being put to work that previously would have been reserved for slaves, which is very convenient. With private prisons lobby, they just push to criminalize even more things, exactly. they want people in prisons. $2 per day. There we go. Or $2 an hour. Could be either or. It's most definitely well below minimum wage. Of course. And I think they can, purchase from commissaries and things like that. The US Constitution allows for slavery provided its prisoners being used. Pretty much. Essentially. And how is that a fair and just system? If Ronald gets arrested for carrying an ounce of weed and gets sent to prison for however long, he is then forced into indentured servitude for daring to carry a recreational drug, which is less dangerous than getting blackout drunk, for example. Less dangerous to his health, less dangerous to the health and lives of those around him. You love the fluffy toys? I love my fluffy toys. They're good. The US oh yeah, we read that bit. It's regularly cents per hour. Jesus Christ. Read an article where they're charging 0.03 a minute to let prisoners read ebooks. So if they want to better themselves, go fuck themselves, I guess. Jesus Christ. Excuse me. And yeah, this is the thing that really irks me too, Shay. Don't forget places like California where prisoners are forced to be firefighters whether they want to or not. They only get paid cents. They only get paid cents for the danger. And addendum. Oh, hang on. Addendum to that. What I've heard is that the fire brigades will not hire them once they're out of prison. So they'll go out there and they will actively fight fires, putting their lives at risk, and then they will not be able to actually work for a living in the fire department, despite having the experience of fighting fires after the fact. They simply won't hire them. Here's a case of basically a sadistic bully who treated a teenager like his life didn't matter. It's a trimmed down version, but this guy got off prison, was just fired, but not blocked from service in other police forces. Yeah, I can get wasted on weed, but I don't go out and throw up in the street or start a very silly fist fight. I wobble my way to bed and pass out. Exactly. I've never heard of anyone committing violent actions on marijuana, but I have heard numerous circumstances of people who have gotten blackout drunk and started a violent altercation. And I've heard of people, quite honestly, teen heart stop after tasing. I think I've heard of this one. What was I going to say? Fuck. I've heard of people who get violent, or get, aggressive and disagreeable when they're trying to sober up from cigarettes, for example. And these are two completely legal drugs that are in the system that are benefiting everything that we, the system under which we live. And quite frankly, there's still a problem. You dig the look today? Thank you, con man. I'm liking it. It's to go with my new pants. Can we stop talking about drugs for a second and talk about my pants? I can't show you properly at the moment because the cat's on my fucking lap, but one red leg, one black leg, inverted color pockets. Look at these. The look. Oh, whoops. We'll come back to that in a moment. The look is very Harley Quinn inspired today because I got these pants in the mail today, and they're fucking good. Anarchist pants. Oh, I love them. It's so good. And check the pigtails. We got a red and a black. We got the whole thing. Nails. I guess I am technically an anarchist in this circumstance. Where were we? There's also the banned books list, which normally includes most books on bettering themselves and books covering things like economics and politics. Of course. Why would they, this is the thing, is they specifically don't want these people to better themselves in prison. And how is that a just system? If you take someone, would you not argue that if someone, let's just say, for example, Johnny gets blackout drunk, goes out into the street, picks a fight with someone, bludgeons the man to near death, but he survives. Right? And when he sobers up in the prison cell, he's incredibly remorseful for it. Spends the next 10 years in prison because he nearly killed a man. Would you not want him, let's just say, for example, and there are most certainly criminals who will commit a violent act or commit a criminal act of some capacity and regret it and will have to go to prison, and invariably there will be prisoners in there who want to better themselves. Would it not be justice for that person to go to prison and better themselves in there, using free resources that would allow them to actually improve themselves and come out a better person on the other side, reformed and willing to contribute to society in a positive way? Would that not be justice? I'll let you discuss it. The whole society is basically built to make people addicted, distracted, or dependent. Absolutely phenomenon. 100%. Luckily in the UK for now, education in prisons in the UK exists with unis like the Open University with specialists to enable people to complete even degrees, masters, and PhDs in prison. There you go. Better to have people at near insensibility. Heaven forbid they should have a look around. Oh yeah. Of course the Conservative Party wants to further restrict such opportunities because tough on crime BS, yeah. That's one of the major problems. There's like a lot of people... This feels like a really weird conversation to have in the wake of a violent cop being guiltily sentenced. Justifiably so. But I suppose it is relevant in the grand scheme of things. Because we've already determined, you know, I think we're all in agreement that Chauvin deserves a life in prison. But yeah, this notion of the tough on crime scenario infers, what it infers, thank you Botwick for transliberation now, of course. I just realized I haven't run I haven't run an ad, so we've got pre-rolls at the moment. I'm sorry. If we get, you know what, I'll do an ad break now. We'll come back to the prison abolition and prison reform thing in a minute. We're just running an ad so, you know, the last half hour or so of the stream is ad-free. I should set it so that there's probably a way that I can set it so that it's automatically playing ads every half an hour. There's probably a way I can do that. But I already fiddled with my my starting soon screen earlier. My starting soon button, and I added an ad break into the starting soon segment, and it didn't work. It didn't trigger. So, you know, maybe I need to work on that somehow. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure I'm completely a prison abolitionist. Like, you know, the idea of prison abolition infers we get rid of prisons. And we work towards a reformative, rehabilitative society, which would be an ideal utopic situation. But my personal viewpoint at the present is I think there are certain... And again, this is entirely from a personal perspective. Not everybody is going to share this viewpoint. But I believe there are probably a fair chunk of criminals who can be rehabilitated. And there are the few that cannot. You know? I think there's the few that cannot, and those are but the problem there is how do you determine if someone is beyond rehabilitation? You know, how do you determine if someone... Yeah, some people cannot function safely in society. Some people definitely do pose a risk to others in society, but how do you determine who those risks are? Yeah, it's a very difficult subject to handle. And the ideal scenario would be, yes, get rid of the prison system because it is a facet of an unjust criminal justice system, obviously. You know, abolition would be the ideal starting point, provided there was a satisfactory rehabilitative procedure to follow up on that. That is what mental health professionals are for, but there's not enough is one of the major things. There's A, not enough mental health professionals, and B, the government has to be willing to fund mental health professionals to sufficiently cater to all of those people. Anyone who goes to prison should be able to better themselves up until the point where they pose a risk to society, e.g. a violent murderer may never be released, but in jail they still receive support to live well and improve as a person. Yeah, like that's an idea. There's a video on YouTube about a murderer in Finnish prison getting rehabilitated and educated, and the comment section is one big rehabilitation versus retribution discussion. Of course it is. At the very least we can do like Norway, which has the lowest recidivism rates in the world and the most humane prison system in the world. That's the one I was thinking of before, Norway. But yeah. And it's criminally underfunded by governments, yes. You can set up things like the Okay, you can set up things like the pedo towns in the US, where due to the heavy restrictions post-prison, many US states have had new towns formed by pedophiles, so they are able to live whilst being away from children. I mean, that's an idea. Find it doesn't help to talk about the extreme situations. For the most part, they don't happen, and when they do, there are ways to handle it. Regrettably, that's a good point. I think I used the word regrettably incorrectly there, but like it's kind of a good point that like the extreme situations are rare in the in the grander scheme of things, contrasted with all crime. Those more severe circumstances are uncommon, and it does lead into that discussive topic that a lot of right-wingers tend to use, where they will point out the most extreme circumstance to try to hammer in their point. Like, for example, if we circle around to the transgender discussion that's never ending, if somebody were to bring up the case of they wouldn't wax my balls chick, I forgot what her name is, if somebody were to bring up her case where she turned out to be an absolutely reprehensible person and thus a bad representation for the trans community, whenever someone is being transphobic and are trying to justify their transphobic beliefs, they will bring up somebody like her, who was essentially an out-and-out pedophile as well, just a sexual predator, sexual pest. And just because she happens to be trans, that then becomes a representation of all trans people in certain discussive circles. And that's the issue that we have to try to avoid when having any kind of discussion, is we do want to avoid using the most extreme example, but there are certain circumstances where the most extreme example is relevant to the discussion. I can talk. Hello, Talon. How you doing? You've heard of so many crimes where you're thinking absolutely not, this person isn't capable of empathy or function within a society with other people, but then there are cases where you truly believe justice was not served, or that these people should be able to get their sentence shortened and rehabilitated instead of kept locked up. Yes. You hope Chauvin sees his error so he can truly suffer from guilt and reform, but yeah, he should have his prime years taken from him like he did to George. Yes. Bingo. Done. I agree. Don't discount sex pests. When we're talking about this particular sex pest, I would like to discount them from existence, quite frankly, because they have become a mark against the trans community, a sore stain on the trans community. There's also those people who are basically evil. If you say, look at Ted Bundy, or in the UK, the Moors murders. There's plenty of murderers and torturers in the military who have done far worse, like the Blackwater mercenaries. Yeah, exactly. The Moors murders are horrific. I'm going to have to look that one up. People aren't ready to talk about how across all gaps it's estimated that 20 to 30% of people are in some way pedophilic. It's a very scary thought, but it explains some of the popular porn categories. Yeah, exactly. And the way that, the systems like Pornhub facilitate that kind of behavior. Ta-da! You found nothing. Good on you. Yeah, worse, not all the bodies were found. That's the scary thought, isn't it? That's fucking terrifying. Absolutely fucking terrifies me. Just the notion that someone might be out there who would be completely willing to end my life. Completely irrelevant of anything, just to kill someone. Someone who just wants to kill. That's a fucking scary thought. Anyways. Teen's heart stops after tasing. Let's watch this video this is back in 2016. Who dropped this one in chat? I forgot who dropped this one in chat. Sabercat. Drop this one. You're gonna go Crash Radio Arena? Have a good one. Thank you so kind of hanging out. So what's this news story here? Following video contains content that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
On the ground.
Oh, hang on.
On the ground.
Teen's heart stops after tasing. I think I recall this case. September 14, 2014, Officer Timothy Runnels pulls over a 17-year-old Bryce Masters. Runnels stopped Masters after being told incorrectly by dispatch that his license plate was linked to a wanted suspect.
Roll all the way down. I can hear you. Roll it all the way down. Get out.
A federal judge recently released dash cam footage of the stop.
Get your ass out now.
I haven't done anything, officer. I haven't done anything, officer. What, am I under arrest?
Yes.
Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest?
Come out of the car.
Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest?
See, what can someone justify that behavior that he's doing there? No, like looking at what we've got here, can anyone justify the cops' behavior there? Oh yeah, you already mentioned that. Remember, killing is like tea. Only do it if you have someone's consent. Yeah, look, and this is a routine thing. This is what cops do. Why do we see so much of this? And quite frankly, it's good that we have stuff like dash cams, body cams, people filming with smartphones. It's good that this is becoming a more and more common thing to have this footage, as disturbing as it is. Yeah, he could have backed up and said, "You are under arrest," clearly and explicitly, and instruct him to get out of the car and arrest him civilly. Police are not supposed to be executioners. And this is one of the problems that the US police system has, is that they think they are. They treat them like, do you remember the situation with the cops during the Black Lives Matter protests getting around with Punisher symbols on their cars and on their uniforms that had the Blue Lives Matter flag overlaid over the Punisher symbol? They literally see themselves as vigilantes, but they're state-sponsored vigilantes. They think they have the authority to go out there and execute people. Police are there to securely drive a criminal to the station. That is the case. That is the situation. That's how it should be. You know? I don't want to watch the rest of it because I already saw a bit of a glimpse at the end of it there, and it's a bit disturbing. So we'll stop that there. You know. So, and you know, if you wonder why we have these skepticisms of the police, it's because we keep seeing more and more. We keep reading reports about more and more of this kind of thing. Keep seeing videos of it. We keep hearing about it all the time. It's not uncommon to hear these kinds of cases. This is the problem. If the case is not uncommon, if we are routinely being exposed to news articles that are outlining how bad the police are, then it means there's more happening that we're not seeing. There are cops who are turning off their body cams. There are cops who are seizing smartphones and destroying the evidence. There are people who are just not recording them. There are situations where dash cams are not involved. Like there is more of this happening and worse. And people still want to defend the police system. I don't understand that. Hindley and Brady were never released because they tortured children they abducted to death. It was pure evil. If you were triggered by child abuse cases, you'd avoid it as a pair. Recorded the children on tape so bad it led to members of the court literally breaking down. They didn't need training to deal with resistance, but they shouldn't be causing the suspect to resist. Exactly. If the officer causes the suspect to resist in the first place, then they've already failed at their job. You know, they've already failed the scenario. You know, if you cannot actively bring the situation down to a reasonable level, then your ability as a police officer, as an officer of the law, is questionable. If you cannot de-escalate the situation. Why is there not enough de-escalation training in these situations? Why do we constantly see videos of excessively aggressive cops who make the situation worse? Because they're not trained to be defenders of justice and law. They're trained to make matters worse, to create more criminals. There's too many criminals within the law and police system. It needs a complete overhaul, which is virtually impossible at the end of it. It feels impossible. You know, I want to retain some level of hope. I want to retain some level of optimism with this whole sort of thing. Like, think, you know, the idea maybe in 10, 20 years we have a reformed police system on a much broader scale than just America. Australia too has its problems, and that would be ideal. Police that are actually treating human beings like human beings, and not going out of their way to make them to demonize people and treat them as something to be dragged out of the car and executed in the street. You know. Look up Killology. Some sick fucker has trained thousands of different U.S. police departments. His material praises Hitler. Jesus Christ. It's kind of incredibly. There's a term invented by the law enforcement officer Dave Grossman. It concerns the psychology of taking a life. Grossman, who has never killed anyone in combat, invented the term in his 1996 book on killing, the psychological cost of learning to kill in war and society, drawing on the work of combat historian S.L.A. Marshall. Minimize police contact and interventions, increase fines. Yeah. Is that what you mean, Dave Grossman? Is that the guy you're thinking of? This was at the time a viral video on how police are supposed to behave. Yeah, this is also a part of the. This is the part of the system. This is the part of the emotional manipulation to make you think cops are good guys. Cops are good guys. This is how the cops are supposed to act. Look at the nice cop officer, man. See how this police officer. Listen to like the calming melodic music. On June 17, a man came into a Thai police station holding a knife to his own neck. This isn't even in America. Instead of pulling his gun out, Senior Sergeant Major Anirudh Malay talked to the man. The man said he had worked for 3 days and had not been paid yet. Eventually the man relaxed and offered Sergeant Malay the knife. Manipulative ass music, yes indeed. And then he stabs him in the back. Man broke down in tears and apologized. You get the point. Which of course is not particularly like it happened in Thailand, so it's a different situation. Cops aren't bastards after all. Are you sufficiently hypnotized yet? Is this the same Thailand where cops regularly torture and brutalize suspects in custody to get confessions? It feels pretty conspiratorial, doesn't it? Tanner from preschool, it's my stream. Shut the fuck up, cunt. Anyway, losing $1,000 from speeding is a good deterrent, not police pulling you over. Yeah, precisely. Your girl got a speeding ticket recently. I will be carefully watching my speed going through school zones from now on. I'll try not to go like 5 to 10 Ks over the speed limit. I didn't realize, okay? Shut up. I paid my fine. Ad hominem is specifically a debate tactic. What are you talking about? We're not having a discussion here. You just came right out and insulted me. We can read, homie. Yeah, I know you can. But I was reading the text for the sake of it because my face was also covering some of it. The same Thailand whose cops regularly pin crimes on immigrants and non-Thais choosing not to do actual investigations and such, yes. It's a good deterrent unless you're rich, and Jacinta and I had the discussion earlier of like, you know, fines should be proportional to someone's income, which is a difficult situation to figure out. If, for example, you give someone a fine, like how do you determine what someone's income is? How are they going to know what kind of income a person has? I'm sure there's definitely data on that to make that circumstance happen. But if someone else did the same speeding offense that I did, and you know, if someone much wealthier than I committed the same speeding offense, then they'd get the same ticket. They'd get the same like $200-ish that I had to pay. And if they were much more well off, that's nothing. They could just dismiss it. Look at this shit. What's this one? Yeah, you were the first person to be rude. Shut the fuck up, dude. If you're gonna come to me and be rude off the fucking bat, shut your fuckhole, cunt. Officer swiftly fired after challenging altercation. This is a 16-minute video. Yeah, and that was rude. You didn't need to say that. Don't be rude to me. Problem with fines is my nephew's a little shit who has an antisocial behavior order against him, but when he breaks it, your hardworking sister has to bail out the little shit. Yeah, I've heard of that kind of situation before, which that's a very difficult circumstance to work around. Like, what do you do if you have a family member who is problematic? Problematic is probably not the right term there, but what do you do if you have a family member who is largely a troublesome sort, right? And is routinely bringing down the family in a lot of ways. It's a tricky circumstance to work around, because I know of a certain person in a certain family that I am, I guess, acquaintanced with, in a sense. And that family member is one of those kinds of people who definitely has an antisocial behavior disorder, which causes him to act out regularly. He's done criminal things, but because he's underage, hasn't been sufficiently punished for it. Some of those actions violent, and I don't know what that family is going to do with him once he is of age, like you've mentioned. Once this particular person is 18, he's out on his ass. Is there any government help for him? There might be, but the situation, you know, the system is woefully inadequate to deal with it. Yeah, get timed out, Tanner. Go fuck yourself. Forget which left who, but one of them did a video going through Grossman's training material and his ideology and how it encourages the murder of suspects overtaking them in. I'll have to find that. That would be good. That would be good. Let's try. Jesus Christ. There's some more news, which looks like I just looked up Killology, and there's a video by Some More News, how cops are trained to shoot you in your home. Would that be it? And there's a bunch of videos engaging with Dave Grossman. Dave Grossman discusses combat and killing. Dave Grossman, role of faith in combat. Not the one you're thinking of, but it should be good. It's 26 minutes though. Do we have 26 minutes? We could watch it. Let's do it. Let's watch it. Fuck it. Let's watch a full-blown video. Some more news. This is the first time I've watched Some More News actually. So I've never actually watched this channel. I've heard good things. Let's see what we got.
Here's some news.
Oh, I
in
know.
the form of a question.
I do follow Cody Johnston though on Twitter.
It's the best kind of news. Hey, should cops have guns?
No.
Perhaps the answer is maybe not. More on this shocking discovery in a moment. This moment.
Tonight, community leaders, loved ones, and the lawyer for Tatiana Jefferson's
Gotta
family
get the soldiers
want
to believe in
justice.
God. If they don't believe in an
went to
afterlife, they might be
investigate
less
at the
willing to
window.
risk their lives.
An officer was on the other side who shouted commands, and before she had a moment to respond, he shot her to death. That's murder.
Speaking out after police released body cam footage showing 2 officers responding to a welfare check. When one officer calls
You're
for
welcome.
someone to put up their hands,
Put your hands up. Show me your hands.
the Fort Worth Police Department saying the officer perceived a threat. The officer drew his duty weapon and fired 1 shot, striking the person inside the residence.
Whoo, boy! What a fun video you're about to watch. What a thick rave.
You thought the burp came from the video. Well, I'll hang on a second, Shay. Let me grab that link for a sec. You've given me a timestamp like right at the end of the video. The problem with police training or why Joe Biden is wrong about police reform. I'll save that to watch later. We can come back to that one. Show your hands, bang bang. Yeah, I can give you burps. Don't worry, I can give you burps.
Sunshine on your brain. You're so welcome for this golden stream you're about to receive. Now, in case you don't remember, because of...
Hold up a sec. Let's turn the volume up just a tad because it's hard to hear him a little bit. We'll put it up to 200. Don't take my fucking widget away, dude. Jesus Christ.
Time. Roughly 1 month ago, a Texas woman named Tatiana Jefferson was shot through her window while playing video games with her nephew in her home where she lived. In what is clearly a turn of events, unlike anything we've seen in this country for the past 400 years, the community was shocked to learn that her executioner was a police officer. Having failed to identify himself as a cop, Officer Aaron Dean later resigned before being arrested for murder, a thing he did. This comes at the heels of the murder conviction of Amber Geiger, a former Dallas police officer who, back in 2018, entered the apartment of Botham Jean, an unarmed black man.
I forgot about Botham Jean. Oh my goodness. How did I forget about him? Oh my gosh, I just like, you know, with everything that's going on, this is the problem, right? Botham Jean definitely had a very big moment in the wake of his death. Here, there was a lot of discussion around that whole scenario, that Amber Geiger scenario. I can't believe this is the problem. Is this not the problem? Amidst everything that's been going on, amidst how many deaths, amid how many murders of people of color by the police in the United States, this slipped my mind because there's so much else going on. Think about that for a second. Consider if they've got a Christian faith, it's easy to unperson the other side. Yes, it absolutely is.
Shooting him dead. But that's totally okay. You see, because Botham had weed on him the night he was murdered. You know, that thing no one but the bad guys have. Oh, how that seductive and totally uncommon jazz tea lures in the wicked. Sometimes even driving 400 miles from Louisiana in order to purchase that very rare devil grass before shooting a man who just happened to also be the key witness for the trial of a police officer who shot said unarmed black man. Such a totally normal thing to happen to those insatiable reefer hounds. Let's hug. So,
oh my god,
that's all pretty terrifying.
That fucking case pissed me off so fucking bad, dude. Holy shit.
And totally a thing we've all been talking about and upset about ever since it happened. Even the president spoke up against what happened, saying all Republicans must remember what they are witnessing here, a lynching. At least I assume that's what he was talking about. I only skimmed the tweet. But like, I mean,
oh, fuck.
Imagine if he was talking about anything else, right? Like, how cartoonishly evil would that be? To use a word like lynching to describe his own political problems. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? In a country like this that has serious problems with unarmed black people being regularly executed by the police, for a president to call himself the victim of a lynching and like what if there was a conservative conference at one of his resorts with his son and former press secretary as guest speakers, and they played a video simulating him, the President of the United States, point blank executing the logo for Black Lives Matter? That would be surreally awful, right? Like objectively a bad look that even his base wouldn't defend or deflect, unless they're like stupid or racist or liars, like a really terrible president that should be impeached and removed from office. Also, can you imagine if the president owned hotels and resorts and like made money from them and didn't understand how Halloween candy worked? Can you picture it? What a mess that would be for America. Anyway, cops.
That was a bit.
Is what this video is about. Specifically, cops who gun people down in their own homes and why that is happening. You know, besides the racism. Like all your high school history textbooks, we're going to just push the racism to the side for a second. Because, at least as far as we know, neither officers Amber Geiger nor Aaron Dean wanted to go to jail for murder. Both shootings at least appear to not be premeditated. Otherwise, you'd assume that they wouldn't be so blatant about it. Like if a cop really wanted to kill someone, like a witness to a trial they were mad at, they could easily make it look like, I don't know, a drug deal gone wrong or something like that. I'm just
how convenient.
Not talking about anyone specific. The point is that it's safe to assume, despite their motives, these cops genuinely thought that they could at least get away with shooting an unarmed black person at the time they did that. Something in their brains made them feel entitled to pull the trigger. In the case of Officer Dean, his two biggest mistakes seen in the body camera footage were that he failed to announce himself as a cop and then fired his weapon almost immediately after shouting a verbal command with obviously no intention to actually wait for a response. Like, don't watch the video if you don't think you can handle it. But if you do, notice that the murdering officer appears to be completely on autopilot. His commands clearly just a thing he was trained to shout before his body fired the gun. And that's what I'd like to explore today. Police training. Starting with this quote from the Fort Worth police chief, Edwin Krause, regarding the shooting of Tatiana Jefferson.
We're trying to train our officers better. We're trying to shore up our policies, and we're trying to ensure that they act and react the way that the citizens intend them to. That they act and react with a servant's heart instead of a warrior's heart.
Now, that might sound like well-chosen words by a department doing what should be considered the baseline apology to any of these shootings. But there's a key word there that stands out. Let's see if we...
Remember all the black folk who were involved in the cases around Michael Brown's death kept turning up mysteriously killed. Have you got an article about that? Because that sounds familiar. Warriors heart. Warriors don't gun down unarmed civilians. Exactly. Warriors tend to get into battle with other warriors, generally speaking, not civilians.
We can spot it again in this next white guy video.
In this new, dark, and desperate hour, God has blessed us with warriors. Wherever they come, whatever they do, the warriors will be ready. A warrior fights violence. And what do they fight it with? Violence. Violence is your tool. Violence is your enemy. Violence is the realm you live in, and you must master it.
Hey! What the f*** was that all about? Is it perhaps relevant to the subject of police violence? Would be pretty weird if it wasn't. Would be pretty weird if I just showed you a random video of a dude talking about unrelated stuff. Use your brains, for Pete's sake! Sorry for lashing out.
You're trying to figure out if he's doing a comedy routine or if he's serious. What's this? Okay, so what's this one? Deaths of 6 men tied to Ferguson protests alarm activists. The 6 deaths drew attention on social media and speculation among activists that something sinister was at play. 2 young men were found dead inside cars. 3 others died in apparent suicides. Another collapsed on a bus. His death ruled an overdose. The 6 deaths, all involving men with connections to protests in Ferguson, Missouri, drew attention on social media and speculation in the activist community that something sinister was at play. I mean, come on. How can you... Yeah. Like, need I say any more? Yeah, they're not civilians. They're either criminals or eventually going to be criminals. Precisely. Some activists say their concerns about a possible connection arise out of a culture of fear that persists in Ferguson 4.5 years after Brown's death. Police say there is no evidence the death had anything to do with the protest stemming from a white police officer's fatal shooting of 18-year-old Michael Brown, and that 2 were homicides with no known link to the protests. Everyone's on pins and needles. We don't believe one was connected to each other. It's very convenient that they would say these kinds of things. Anyway, the 4 others, including the 3 by suicide. Dude. I hear about, we hear about, and this is going to sound bad, right? Because it is a bad thing. But I think culturally, there was a case, I think, was it in China? Was it in China? There were some protests going on, and all of a sudden people were turning up dead of apparent suicides. People jumping out of windows and things like that. And allegedly, at least one woman was dead, thrown out of a window. Well, the suggestion was that she threw herself out of the window. She's completely naked. And I think there was even evidence of some kind, or was it in Russia? China is a communist country, though. That's actually kind of what I'm leaning into, Jeopardy, is countries with such different cultures, different socioeconomic systems, different societal makeups than the Western world. You look at it, you look at that kind of situation, the protesters are turning up dead, and you think to yourself, more state capitalists, more than likely, yes. And I think it's more of a cultural interpretation kind of a thing. But I've noticed some people will tend to judge the governments of those countries a lot more severely than their own countries. They'll look at, the government clearly assassinating protesters in China and say, oh, well, of course they do that. Those are not really suicides. But the moment it happens on their home turf in America, these apparent suicides, people are much more quick to doubt. People are much more quick to doubt once it happens on their own home turf. Looking at the results for this Google search, it was definitely happening in, it's obviously going to happen in Russia, but there were certainly instances of it happening in China as well. You love the nail color. I got 2 nail colors. Which one do you like the best? Which is really, it's a scary point. It's a scary thought that in some ways, a lot of the people who are making those judgments, U.S. black witnesses mysteriously turning up dead. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No. I meant specifically with regards to the protests around. What was it? More of Kremlin's opponents are ending up dead. Yeah. No, there was something else. What were the protests in... Shut up, Java. Fuck off. What was the protest? What were the protests in China about? I've forgotten. It was in China, and it was related to the Blitzchung thing. Remember Blitzchung? About the Hong Kong. I've forgotten. There's so much stuff happening all the fucking time. Remember when they cut the broadcast and they fired that kid from the Hearthstone esports tournaments? China's still putting Muslims in internment camps. Anyways, The point I was trying to make, of course, was, if we look at government-orchestrated suicides in other countries, we tend to dismiss it as almost the barbaric notion of whatever they're doing in whatever other non-English-speaking country. And then the moment it happens in an English-speaking country like America or Australia or the UK or any of those, suddenly people are skeptical of the notion that their government could be actually assassinating people who are protesting in support of Black Lives Matter and things like that. It's also quite ironic how people say in Russia there's so much more outwards and obvious homophobia, but in our Western world, we're absolutely not accepting and tolerating in the Western world, let me tell you. Fucking hell, mate.
Folks, I want you to meet Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, an aptly named police trainer who, for the last 20 years, has conducted training seminars in all 50 states for every federal law enforcement agency, and even gave lectures at West Point.
Every federal law enforcement agency. Jesus titty fucking Christ.
So, he sure talks about Jesus a lot, and seems to be completely fucking unhinged.
To live is Christ.
Why is this guy enforcing the word of God to federal law enforcement agents? That is not a rational way to treat this kind of situation.
Nothing better than to live in Christ. It is the ultimate joy. To live is Christ, and to die is what? Is gain. To live is Christ, and to die is even better. What?
What? What level of derangement syndrome is this? Good God.
It's a no-lose situation. If we live in Christ. If we die, we gain. Do you understand? Our nation here on earth was bought with the blood of our warriors. And the kingdom in heaven was bought with the blood of Jesus.
That man is training cops. Anywho, you notice that word again? Warrior? It's not an uncommon word in the police lexicon.
There's a reason the Catholic Church had to make suicide a sin that sends you to hell, yeah. They want warriors.
Thanks to something called warrior training, a type of supplementary police education that Grossman is known for conducting along with his business partner Jim Glennon, a former police lieutenant in Chicago. Glennon co-owns a company called Caliber Press, which has a very popular seminar called The Bulletproof Warrior.
What year is this video from? This is an evergreen topic. This is from 2019. I don't know what year the video of Grossman is from, but this is an evergreen discussion. This is not going to change.
To be fair and balanced, the class has since been renamed to simply Bulletproof. And to be even more balancer, it sure seems possible that this was because their most notable alumni is the guy who shot Philando Castile while he was in his car with his family. Hey, check out their snazzy promo for the class!
I almost feel guilty listening to that kind of music anymore. That kind of music that you can hear in the background now, I almost associate it with white supremacists at this point. There's a certain sound there. You might be hearing it, you might not. I don't know.
Be sure to use the discount code to reduce the price from $209 an officer to only $189 an officer. Or just buy this stylish DVD box set for $300. And perhaps even you can become a warrior like that guy I just mentioned who shot Philando Castile while he was in his car with his family. And some weed. If you're in the Fort Worth area, you can definitely catch one of these seminars.
Yes, a mediocre attempt at industrial metal is a good way to do it. Is this, do you mean the music is loud, or do you mean, because I think I've put the volume booster up too high and now he's peaking, which is not what I wanted.
Of which was conducted there just last year. But hey, maybe I'm being
Suicide
too hard.
Being a sin also reminds you how we've made it a crime to help someone die who wants to, who's in a hospital bed connected to machines and cannot stand living another day. Yeah, we've had the discussion around, we've had that discussion before, assisted suicide, euthanasia, and things like that. Like, it's despicable that we allow people to just continue living even though they're in a state where their body simply cannot keep them alive anymore. Why do we do that? Why do we not allow people to die with dignity, right? Yeah, the mediocre attempt at industrial metal. So now I can't listen to that kind of music because it's honestly, I've just noticed it's generally associated with those kinds of groups.
mischaracterizing this training.
And not to mention, you know, when you hear that specific sound, it tends to lean towards violent lyricism as well, which is just meh, bleh.
So let's take a look at one of the leaked textbooks from the seminar, which characterizes a few pre-attack indicators from suspects as the acts of avoiding eye contact, yawning, or simply the word hands.
I'm yawning.
So next time you're pulled over, you make sure not to be tired and also to avoid having hands. Also, try not to be a minority. Seriously, that's sort of the big one. But in this particular copy of the textbook, the pupil...
Might I ask why you think this guy's a Muslim, given there's no indication that of anything he said that's religious at all? Try and not to be autistic. Don't be autistic, kids. It'll save your life.
Was kind enough to note that the slide projector during the presentation simply had the words, "Don't hesitate," on it. Also, there's a page where the entire text is just Bible quotes, mostly about murder. This is used to train cops. There are just so many questionable bits of advice in this thing. Not to mention that gross man likes to call his teaching killology. But possibly the most disturbing aspect has to be the overall warrior theme these seminars instill on the students. There's an ongoing theme in these lessons that police are a separate class of individuals, God-directed, to inflict violence for a noble cause. There are many ways that this manifests in his speeches, like literally comparing officers to knights of olden times.
And God has raised up warriors. Now let me define what I mean by warriors. When I talk about a warrior, we could talk about the Zulu warrior, the Apache warrior, many ways a noble model. But when I talk about warriors, the model I want you to take away from here are the knights of old. Have you ever asked yourself why the symbol of a cop, a firefighter, is a shield? Why is a firefighter, the cop, their symbol a shield, a badge, a star, a little chunk of armor hung on the left side? Why is that your symbol? It is a direct, intentional, overt reference to the knights of old. Today, for the first time in centuries, there are warriors who wake up every morning.
What is wrong with his eyes? When I talk about warriors, I talk about white people. Yes. Before anybody asks a question about trans people in sports, just click that link there in chat and shut your fuckhole.
They don armor.
Hey!
Yeah, what's with all the photos of the cops around him? Are they dead cops? Fingers crossed.
Don't touch random people, bro! But the knight analogy is probably the most tame. In one class, he told officers to literally find an overpass overlooking the city they serve and imagine a cape blowing in the wind. You know, like Batman, famous friend of police, seen here kicking a man down a sewer before blowing him up. This idea of being...
Has Batman, like, why do people say that Batman is the superhero that doesn't kill people, and yet in every single depiction of Batman I've seen, he kills people? Why is that? What? Batman doesn't kill people. Like, where did this myth come from that Batman is the guy who doesn't kill people? Because that's flagrantly fucking false. In every instance I've seen of Batman, he fucking kills. And yet he continues to espouse that notion himself. Grossman does say getting you getting home alive and uninjured is more important than anything else. Then what's with the rest of the shit? So confused as to what you walked into. Most police training is actually batshit brainwashing shit like that. Yeah, he doesn't kill people like cops don't kill people.
Being a superhero then translates to why cops should win off duty.
He doesn't kill in the animated series and the comics. Well, yeah, I suppose. But like, I mean, I haven't seen all of those. I haven't read the comics, for example. But let's take the adaptations though. Yeah, it seems like he's fine to kill the grunts, and he has killed main villains in some of the things I've seen. And well, actually no, maybe it's more the grunts. I don't know if I've seen him kill a main villain now that I think about it. That crook was high on fentanyl and going crazy. Batman had no choice. Fucking hell. But that's the thing, it's like, you know, why do adaptations of Batman tend to avoid the whole no killing thing? I don't get it. That's why we say Batman is a cop. He murders and gets away with it every time and then claims he didn't kill anyone.
And even on vacation, should totally bring their guns everywhere they go and be prepared to stop the next 9/11. Because nothing like constant paranoia to really round out a holiday.
The cop from Toadsuck, Arkansas is authorized to carry in Los Angeles and Orange County and New York. And the cop from Orange County in New York is authorized to carry in Toadsuck, and the world's a better place for it. Huh? You pray there will be somebody there with the life-saving tools of their profession, their moment of greatest need. Huh? And we don't care where they come from. Good people can disagree on civilian carry, but can we all agree?
Matter. Did he say toad suck? I don't know what toad sock, toad stuck. The subtitle keeps going toad stock. I don't know what he's saying. He's saying something.
We got to trust cops with the life-saving tools of their profession. If you can't
life-saving tools, that's demonstrably the opposite. Life-saving tools of their profession, like a fucking gun. An item specifically designed not to save lives. Does he know what guns were made for? Killing cunts.
Can't trust cops with guns and fold up the flag and kiss America goodbye because it's over. We trust them on duty, we trust them off duty. The warrior watched 3,000 citizens die before your...
Now he's saving these people and sending them to heaven. That's what he's using his gun for. Still confused as to whether he's serious or this is a stand-up. I think he's serious. I would imagine he's serious. If he's not, if this is a stand-up bit, he's fucking committed to it.
Eyes in pain and agony and despair in a puff of ash, in a cloud of smoke, and you know one person on that plane.
Agony and despair. The subtitles are fucking up. They only save their own lives. Yeah, exactly. This dude is delusional.
Somebody say, yeah, Dave, you got my number. I wish I was on that plane. Well, good. They ain't coming to your plane. They're coming to your mall. They're coming to your theater. They're coming to your church. They're coming to your kid's school. And you need to be ready for them. You cops, that means you carry off duty.
Weird how he says that cops yearn for these hero moments, you know? Like, it seems like he's training them to imagine a grand superhero victory where they get to take out the terrorist and everyone in the room claps. And by glorifying that, it makes them really want that thing to happen. And then he encourages them to constantly walk around, while armed, looking for that thing. It sure is weird how he does that in a police training seminar. But even more distressing than all of that is something he and other trainers call the sheepdog mentality. But why should I explain what that is when we have a totally great teacher for that?
Now, an old Vietnam veteran, an old retired colonel, put it to me like this. He said, Dave, most of the people in our society are sheep. They're kind.
Groan. I'm trying to avoid using cringe too much, but cringe. You better start using those drums by the end of this. So Community's done it thousands of times across the UK, specifically to cop audiences. Convenient.
Decent, gentle, productive creatures who can only hurt each other by accident under extreme provocation. And they're wolves. And the wolves will feed on the sheep without mercy. Are there wolves in the land? Are there people who would go into your child's school and kill every single child and take pleasure in doing it? Are there people who would harm you and your loved ones? Are there wolves in
this is outright male power fantasy, absolutely.
In the land? Are there? Never.
And that's exactly what it's appealing to, which is one of the many, many factors of toxic masculinity, is the inherent disposition toward violence. No offense to anyone who is a male in the audience. But it is one of the factors that is encouraged by people like him. There's the good example. Encouraging the notion of being that violent protector. What color are the sheep and what color are the wolves? Yeah, exactly. If these people view each other in terms of animals, then there might be a problem. Yeah, just a little bit of one. Just a little bit of a problem. Just a teeny bit. All men?
Forget it. The moment you try to pretend there are no wolves in the land, the moment you try to deny the existence of evil, you're in denial. And you're just another sheep. What?
Get back.
You're in denial. The moment you try to deny the existence of evil, you're in denial.
Okay, so he says the moment you try to deny the existence of evil, you're in denial. No shit, jackass, but the reality of the situation is not that evil exists, it does. The reality of the situation is that these police are fictionalizing evil when they're out in the field, thanks to dickheads like this who are giving them the ego to do that. They are envisioning a situation where whoever it is that they might be arresting is an evil person by just their first encounter. The moment you deny such and such, you're in denial. Crazy. Yeah, imagining evil, essentially, yes. There's a good representation of toxic masculinity. The speeches they also give each other in men's spaces, making each other feel like they're on a mission. They are the protagonist. Yeah, protagonist syndrome's a real thing. Like the world revolves around them and their actions.
And you're just another sheep.
Just another sheep.
And never forget, there are wolves
God
and
has
lambs.
the worst fan base.
And there are lambs who need protecting. And then the old boy said, there are sheepdogs. He said, I am a sheepdog.
Again, I reiterate. Cringe. I really need my done emote. Just... Anywho.
I am a predator too.
You write it all down? There are only...
I am a predator too. No, I wouldn't say that, dude.
3 kinds of people. Sheep, wolves, and sheepdogs. Nothing else! And if you don't think that's true and don't believe that some people are undeniably evil despite their mental health status or background, well then you're just another sheep. You f***ing sheep. And then there are the sheepdogs. Here to...
If it bleeds, we can kill it. What's even more insane is that this murder complex is not limited to guns. Yeah, exactly. Cops killed Freddie Gray in the back of a van and choked out George Floyd. The murder complex of cops is so deep they'll kill even when they don't use their tools. Exactly. A gun is not a life-saving tool, and a cop is not there to save your life. Also, trans power for the hell of it. Let's just go in there.
Protect the sheep. Even if the sheep are a little peeved because the sheepdog has this weird tendency to murder non-white sheep and then claim they were wolves, often by accusing the sheep of smoking sheep weed, as if that justifies it. Like, really, really often. It's not the sheepdog's fault, of course, because the sheep, well, they resent the sheepdog.
The sheep resent their sheepdogs. The sheep resent their sheepdogs. You go out to the meadow, you ask one of the sheep, you say, hey, what do you think of the sheepdog? You know what he'd tell you? He's a bad man.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die of cringe. I'm going to literally die of unbased. Please make it stop. The sheepdog theory that's actually shown to every police officer being trained in the world is the very core of the mentality they brainwash into cops in training, voiding them of all their humanity for anyone other than their own brothers and sisters. Yeah, exactly. He is doing comedy.
He's always racing through the streets going, woo!
And of course by woo, he means shooting unarmed people in their homes and cars and stuff. This, of course, spins off into something called sheepdog training, which Gross Man is also a part of, and you can check out for only $99. So, just to recap, cops are warrior sheepdogs. Woo. The public are timid sheep who resent them, and wolves are evil people who need to be put down the moment they make a move. You don't want to get hurt? Don't challenge the sheepdogs. You'll get nipped, aka shot, in your own home. And again, this is being taught to cops all over the country. And it's bad. Bad enough for some cities to actually try to ban the training, to which the companies are fighting back by offering free classes. What few studies we have on warrior training makes it clear that it's the opposite of what police need to prepare for the real world. A world where, by the way, a very small percentage of police duties can actually be defined as crime fighting. It's a broken philosophy based on fantasy that attracts all the wrong kinds of people, and it's being taught to cops. And despite the efforts to stop warrior training, people like Dave Gross Man are heavily embedded in our government, a system that seems designed to churn out
I can't not giggle at Gross Man every time. It's fucking great. Nazis are the real wolves, but cops never go after them, conveniently. How weird is it that there are so many Nazis out there and yet the cops are not going after the Nazis? That's such a strange circumstance. Another very toxic masculine trait, be obedient, don't challenge me, treating humans like possessions. Yes, exactly. Incredibly good article to check out, written by a former cop who now firmly believes all cops are bastards, and he was too. That's the one good cop. The only good cop is a cop who left the force.
Impulsive hotheads. For starters, police don't really get that much official training, likely making them turn to other sources, you know, like the NRA, a totally swell group that not only trains cops, but perpetuates the idea that there's a war on cops in this country. As you probably already guessed, Gross Man has spoken at many NRA events, because of course he has. He's a known part of the culture and well-liked. Just ask the many comments on the YouTube video I've been playing of people who sure sound like cops praising his motivational speeches. Remember that meeting Trump had with a bunch of people from the video game industry to discuss shooting violence? Well, guess who was there? You don't have to guess. It was Dave. Dave Gross Man, who, in case you wanted to be super not surprised, believes that video games are the problem. Because of course, Dave does.
Yeah, chuck it in the Discord if you want. I'm vanishing from reality the more I hear about this dude. My mind is just dissipating. I no longer exist. I am but a concept, a mere philosophical being. I don't exist anymore. Video games equal problem gambling, alcohol, etc. equals acceptable, yeah. I mean, there is the gambling situation in the video game industry at the moment, but we're not going to go into that now. Every time you hear a thing that Grossman says or thinks it's somehow dumber than the previous, I think I lost quite a few brain cells. Like, I drank a green tea before, and yet somehow, you know, my second half in these videos is always, it has a tendency to be me drinking an alcoholic beverage of some variety. Thank you for the hydration magic. And yet, in this particular circumstance, I feel like I've lost more brain cells hearing about Gross Man than drinking some Moscato or some red. It's in the newsroom channel. Thank you, buddy.
And of course, he would have access to the President of the United States. Like, doesn't just everything about that make sense? Aren't you happy the guy who thinks cops are modern-day superheroes?
Rating with a party, mate. Hello, friendos. How you going? How was your stream? How'd you go? What's going on? Friend Scat, what's happening? I'll turn off the Dave Grossman thing for a second. How was your stream? How was the games? Here's some party lights for you. Anyone have a Black & Decker grill that I can go to town on my brain with? Run before you lose brain cells. Glad to hear Warframe was fun. I need one of those cocktails you make, because I'm slow. I just want to expedite the mental death I'm experiencing right now. Hearing about Dave Grossman. Found some really silly logic fail. Oh, interesting. That's good shit. Everybody should go follow Calgar, by the way. Good friend of the channel. Excuse me. Anywho's. Just got in the clan and discovered you have less rights than invited friends. What do you mean? Oh, let me stretch my... Let me commit a felony stretch again, guys. Folks. Friends. I have to be careful about using the term guys and dudes and all of that. We gotta remember gender neutral terminology. You know? The next time somebody says to you, oh, dudes is gender neutral, Mrs. Lalante tweeted this, ask them if they would fuck dudes. And he literally just discovered Chet Hanks. Oh man, the Chet Hanks saga. I had a video prepared on Chet Hanks. There's a highlight on my channel if you want to go and revise that. But at the end of the day, the whole Chet Hanks debacle, he's an adventure. You know, if you look at what's going, like, Chet Hanks is just a whole debacle. Dude's a gender neutral term. Now ask me if I would fuck dudes. Smash with you bros, then smash you bros. Yeah, exactly. You can invite friends to your clan dojo and game, but your friend joined the clan can't enter the building until they build a key. Oh, okay. That's a pain in the ass. You're bi, so yes, you would fuck dudes. I mean, there is a bit of logic fail. You get to use dudes as gender neutral because I'd fuck dudes, I suppose. You get the point that's being made, though. What about we call each other gays? Gals and guys. I like that. From now on, you're all my gays. I don't care if you are gay or not. Let's continue with this fuckery. It's late. I should probably go to sleep soon, but...
God is also advising the president on video games? Boy howdy, I haven't even mentioned William Lewinsky,
That is an evil-looking face. Good lord. Radio Calgar, thank you again for the raid. We're probably not going to be on much longer, honestly. It's nearly 12:30 at night. I should get to bed soon because I've got to drop my daughter off at school in the morning, and then I've got gym after that, so I've got to do stuff tomorrow. See Palpatine's son? He sure as fuck looks like it. Jesus.
Executive director of the Force Science Institute, a consultant company that also offers 5-day training courses
Maybe that just
for
is she.
only $1,650 and boasts training for 10,000 students from 2,200 agencies around the world. And you know, it must be good because it has science in the name. And according to their own website, they are dedicated to scientifically determining and fully understanding the actual physical and psychological dynamics of force encounters, which would certainly explain why Lewinsky charges over $1,000 an hour to appear in court, right?
Hold on a moment. I just realized something. I am not subscribed. Why am I not subscribed to you, Cody Johnston?
Surely this is all on the level stuff. Yeah? Yeah, this man that I just brought up in my video about bad police training, it says nope. Not only is there just no good science surrounding the effective use of force from police, but Lewinsky's science has been specifically flagged as invalid and unreliable by
phrenology, anyone?
The Justice Department, which might have something to do with the fact that he doesn't...
Like bunk science has always been used to justify fascistic tendencies. Let's just clarify that. I'm going to stop the flashing lights now because I'm slowly losing it. Zen Mark II? Is that how you pronounce that? Zenny? Yeah, it does kind of make the lights on my bed change colors, I suppose. You know, different lighting would do that. What did you join? We're reviewing how cops are trained to shoot you in your home by some more news. Cody Johnston.
Peer review his work, opting to publish it.
Tonight's whole stream has been about justice, the justice system, about cops, prison, all of that.
Police magazines,
cops,
rather than science journals. You know that $1,000 an hour court fee? Well, that might have something to do with the fact that old Bill has a reputation for ass-pulling scientific explanations in order to regularly help police departments defend officers involved in obvious acts of murder.
Also, they're warriors or something.
When a Sonoma County Sheriff's deputy shot a 13-year-old boy with a toy gun, they called Bill. When a San Francisco subway cop shot a man in the back while he was on the ground and detained, they called Bill. When an officer in Oklahoma accidentally shot and killed a man before screaming, "F*** your breath," at his dying body, they called Bill. For $1,000 an hour, Bill would get on that stand and use vague science to explain away why the officer involved was totally in the right, no matter what the circumstance. Because nothing says credible and scientific like always arguing the same conclusion, no matter what the variables are. Billiam often uses the psychological condition of...
I just love it's not a nickname, but I love calling people Billiam. If their name is William, if they're a Bill, Billiam's just great.
Inattentional blindness to explain why cops might have gaps and lapses in their reports that he himself has admitted is indistinguishable from lying. For example, back in 2003 when a Hartford cop shot a man twice before claiming it was self...
I'm glad there's a bit of a consensus on Billiam. With those racy charges, he may one day have Billiams. Oh, God.
Defense, before having that claim proven totally false by video taken during the shooting, Bill Lewinsky was able to use his pseudoscience to convince a jury to let him off. Since then, the officer got his job back and was awarded $500,000. Thanks, Bill. You dickhead.
I live for Americans saying the word dickhead. Oh, it's great.
By the way, is banned from giving testimony in British Columbia because of everything you just learned. But here in the States, Bill is training cops.
Yes, Bill is short for William. I don't know. I mean, I guess I get the ill part, but I don't know why it's Bill, not Will.
He's training cops. Guys, he's training cops.
Short for Billiam.
So yeah, if you're wondering why a cop feels totally justified to shoot a black woman in her own home, this is it.
Yeah, Dick is short for Richard. I love that one. There's more like that as well. Jack, get this. Jack is a nickname for John. Same amount of syllables, same amount of letters. It's not shorter in any way. The term Jack, for some reason, this eludes me, is short for John. I don't know. Not even Jonathan. John. Short for Jackula. Jacklium.
This is the reason. Besides the racism, all right, we can't forget the racism. And it's not just one or two people, but a network, a culture.
Rebranding the Jack Gazebo.
Embedded in our law enforcement, all designed to train cops to act like impulsive and entitled maniacs before getting a high-powered bullshit consultant to justify your actions after the fact. The problem is painfully obvious. Again, besides the racism, which is actually also pretty obvious. But if you need some kind of hope to desperately grip onto, like a life jacket on the Titanic, well, there's a small push for change here. As I already mentioned, this mentality is legally biting cities on the ass and causing them to change their training methods. Then there's FBI LEDA, an organization devoted to retraining cops to consider themselves servants rather than warriors.
Sometimes a warrior mindset can allow you to be an us and them mindset. That's the last thing that we need from our police.
This video is quite informative. It's very good. I'm glad that we found this one. Name Bill for William comes from 1600s Britain. No one knows why. That's weird. Blame it on the Brits. You just blame it on the Brits. If you have a problem with something wrong in modern Western society, just blame it on Britain.
Personally, I've lived that mindset. I understand it. And particularly being a police chief for a number of years, well, a guardian is a protector of the community.
See, this is the image that is still sold to children in kids' shows. Paw Patrol, for example. The cop dog is a guardian, is a protector. And a lot of other, any other show where there's a cop character, any other kids show where there's a cop character. There's a segment coming up on, or there was a segment on Play School recently, where they had a police officer on and they were talking about all the good things that the police do. They try to convince you that cops are good from the moment you are able to understand what a cop is.
Guardian is a person.
There's a whole family of cops in Peppa Pig, yeah.
That sees the cause of policing, not just the action of policing. A guardian is someone who looks out for the community, is a partner with the community, not separate.
I was thinking exactly the same, Evo. It's like this is just Colonel Sanders, but he's pivoted in his career.
From them. The old adage back in the 1990s when we were doing community policing was that
I have an idea, which is maybe a bad idea, but like we've been largely covering the news and various other things recently. Sometimes memeable material, I guess. And we've done these streams like this before where it's just one topic for a whole stream. And I feel like some days maybe we should just stretch a topic out over several streams. Would that be exhausting though? Would that be too bad? Would that be too much? or should I keep the variety of topics varied? I don't know. I just thought, you know, this kind of a thing could be a whole week of streams. There's so much in this. There's so much in the concepts around the justice system. They're sort of helping derail you slightly, true. Yeah, it would probably be exhausting, I think. I could do PowerPoints. Should I get back into doing PowerPoints? With the whole transitions thing too. Funny effects. Not here for politics or topics. What, are you here for my Harley Quinn costume? Cops are nothing but bourgeoisie protectors. They're class traders, essentially, yes. You're hiding from uni and then I'm educating you anyway. Yeah, he really does look like Colonel Sanders. It's like, it legitimately looks like Colonel Sanders. But yeah, no, this guy does have a point. This guy does have a point. Contrasted with the previous speakers and the previous people we've talked about. Except Cody. Cody's obviously good.
Folks we worked with, the folks in our communities were our customers. Well, that's not really true. The folks in our communities are our partners. We must expand our mindset from that of a warrior to be inclusive of that also of a guardian.
That's Dean Crisp, a 30-year law enforcement veteran whose name sounds like a lettuce mascot, and who...
But yeah, like, this dude has a very, 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 very good point. Like, Dean Crisp here has a tremendously good point in that cops, and this is what, if we talk about the idea of reforming the police and defunding the police, the concept is take the money that would have funded the police, put it into community outreach, better the communities, and train the cops to be those partners, be those guardians, not warriors and, you know, not the violent soldiers that stand at the gates and request that you don't be black or they'll shoot you. I don't know.
Who happens to be one of the FBI LEDA instructors. Are they perfect? I don't know, man. But he sure as shit isn't talking about how God ordained him to pull out his gun at a mall, you know? At one point in his TED Talk, he specifically calls out a time he got unreasonably suspicious of...
We're watching some more news. Is it some more news? Yes, some more news with Cody Johnston. I'm taking my lipstick off because it's starting to clump. I don't know why it does that. It does look a bit like blood, doesn't it? Ew! My red lipstick looks like blood. For Cody Shody, there is actually a very bloody tissue in my bin.
Of a guy at a Walmart before realizing he was a good guy, and how he wouldn't have realized that had he jumped into a bullshit warrior mindset. So yeah, be like Mr. Crisp, the Crisp Daddy, as we call him. Again, not much, but a start. Like, the bar is depressingly low here. Because if we really want to change the system, to avoid having cops skulking around houses, holding guns, and humming the Lethal Weapon theme, well, we have to fundamentally change...
I don't know the Lethal Weapon theme.
...how they are trained in a way that attracts a totally different kind of personality to the job. It can't just be additional courses. The entire philosophy and culture needs to be uprooted. And maybe they shouldn't have guns? You know, it's just a thought. Otherwise, we might as well give up and convert to a Judge Dredd system. No, not that one. The good one. Yeah!
Hey! Listen here, cunt. Listen the fuck here, cunt. I will not hear any disparagement towards Urban Dredd. Urban Dredd was fucking legendary. Cody Shody, is that another name for Cody Johnston, or am I missing something?
That's the good Judge Dredd movie. If you haven't seen a Judge Dredd movie, that's definitely the one you'll want to watch. The Stallone one.
Why the Stallone one has him take his helmet off, which is goes against everything that Judge Dredd stands for.
Not the other one. And we're done.
Here's a news, volume 58. The desk file warriorization. Maybe cops shouldn't have guns story. Credits. It's my goal to one day have enough patrons that I can do this kind of outro sequence. Look at all them credits.
Hey, thanks for watching. You're a sheep. I'm a sheepdog. Pew, pew. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Go to our patreon.com/somemore news if you want to support us. We've got a podcast called Even More News. We've got like merch and shit. And you great. Ah.
Well, that was good. That was actually very solid. That was a fun experience. We should do that again sometime. It was fun to vibe with you. But I think we're at the end. I'm at the end of my tether. Dude, I love silly, awkward shit. It's one of the reasons that Jim Sterling is one of just my most treasured creators. The silly, awkward shit. Just like, I don't know what to say. I'm gonna fuck around a bit. Look at me. I mean, I do it all the time, honestly. Because I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Quite frankly. Sterling is tremendous. And I'm so glad that, so glad they've come into their own as an NB. Like, it just, you can, it's one of those things. There's something you may notice, something I've certainly noticed, with myself and other trans folks. The trans smile. And NB falls under the trans umbrella for anyone who missed that memo. There's a certain glimmer in their eyes nowadays. There's a certain just pleasure about them. They've always had a great energy. Jim Sterling's always had a great energy. James Sterling of the Jim Sterling Show, Jimquisition. They've always had a tremendous energy, but now since coming out, it just feels like it's been ramped up to 11, you know? It just feels really... And it's the same way people talk about me nowadays. They say that they can see the light in my eyes. They can see the happiness behind the eyes. It's a tremendous thing. When we're allowed to be ourselves, people just exude happiness. It's marvelous. And yeah, non-binary finery. They gave us Chungus for the record. So that's great. That's excellent. I'm just thinking for a moment. Big Chungus. Thinking, who can we raid? Who can we raid tonight? I don't know. I don't know who we can raid tonight. Why am I talking like this? I sound a little bit like Pauline Hanson. Pauline Hanson, who's a racist old cunt. Pauline Hanson, who should quite frankly accidentally walk in front of a semi-trailer. Who can I harass? What's the murder studio they destroyed? What? There's a tweet from Sterling like, I'm the one who invented Chungus and I feel like my small business is being taken over by Big Chungus. Who can I raid tonight? I don't even know. Cardoy! Welcome to the program. How you doing? How goes it? How the fuck goes it, friend? Ruthie? What's Ruthie doing? Half-Life Alex. That'd be interesting. I was actually looking at Richie. I mean, I'm not too fussed on the look of Outriders. It doesn't look too good. But I do like Richie. Richie's always a good sort. I was trying to find somebody... I need to find more BreadTuber Twitch streamers, honestly. I need to find more lefty YouTube... lefty Twitch streamers. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Rogue Room 10-minute longs. You've heard Outriders is good? I've heard the exact opposite of that. Which is why I'm probably why I'm not going to check it out. But it's also a shooter. It's just a shooter, and I'm done with shooters. I mean, I'm playing Fallout New Vegas, but I'm playing Fallout New Vegas from a more ideological perspective, not from a shooty gun game perspective. Big Chungus stand here, fantastic. Also, notice how, I mean, I don't want to get into fat phobia here, but I think it's great that Sterling has lost weight. It's very clear, and they've outright stated it's their goal to lose weight to get in better shape, to get into a better healthy body state. And I applaud them for that as an absolute fitness head, an absolute fitness addict. Win more title belts. Pretty left streaming, but you're not currently streaming. Well, true. That would make things difficult. Let me see. Looter shooter with devs who seem to think bullet sponge. Oh no! Oh fuck! I cannot abide bullet sponge. yeah, they've confirmed they've been losing weight intentionally. They've been dieting, they've been exercising. It's good to see. Who's this person? I know this person. They're playing Temtem. I don't know who this is. I follow too many streamers. Who's on my front page? Let's because like you've all got very good recommendations, but I've raided most of them recently, and I want to raid someone new. But at the same time, it's probably better if I raid someone we're already familiar with, because I'm gonna fuck off the moment we drop in. You know, I'll send you to Richie. Fuck it. We're going to Richie. Okay. We're going to Richie for now, because I've left it too late. It's nearly 1 a.m. You know, I've been streaming since 9 p.m. Yes, those are words. Have a good one, everybody. Here's my socials. Please be sure to check out my latest video, SA Sports. If you've not already, here's my bot to insult you before we go. And tomorrow night I'll be live again for my last stream before the weekend, and then when we come back, I'm thinking about streaming earlier. We'll try like 8 p.m. my time instead of 9. I would like to start gradually working back up to longer streams, because we're nearly at 4 hours with this stream. We're just like 7 minutes shy of 4 hours, and I'm enjoying going for a bit longer. It allows us to do more stuff. So we'll do more stuff. However, if I do that, it's probably going to take away from my I really need to script and record and edit my next video. I've been slacking so fucking hard, dude. I hope yous will like this next one. I'm being a bit creative with it. Alright, that's enough of me. I'll see you when I'm looking at you. Be kind to yourselves and each other. Ta-ta. Be nice. Just be nice. That's all I ask. Be good people. Don't go out encouraging wanton violence. Unless it's in Doom. Night.
Let's go and do that.